it continues. Here is day 3 of Sunny Hostin having a complete meltdown. This is another channel where we track here. We only track it because we need to push back on it. We need to hear the language of the left so that we can reverse engineer the lies and expose it with the sunlight of truth.
30. May I disagree?
All right.
I think that I'd like to reframe the conversation. I think Bernie Sanders is wrong. I think the more relevant question actually is what is wrong with America? I think what is wrong with our country that the Republican Party would choose as a candidate and support a candidate who is an insurrectionist, who is an election denier, who is someone who is twice impeached, 34-time convicted felon, someone who has been accused of alleged sexual misconduct by 26 women, found liable for sexual abuse. What is wrong with this country that they would choose a message of divisiveness, of xenophobia, of racism, of misogyny, over a message of inclusiveness, a message for the people, by the people, of the people. That is what the problem is. It's the Republican Party. What's wrong with there?
Okay. No, Joy. I'm going to interrupt you, Joy. Because everything she just said right there, those are the talking points I'm talking about. You and I both know every single one of those attack vectors is fraudulent, made up, in order for like I said, the entrenched bureaucrats in the deep state so they can keep going on with business as usual. And she is spoon-feeding it right to her audience on this television channel. She just ran through every single thing. I mean, thank you. I appreciate that, Sonny. Now we've got a pure catalog of your lies right here in a 5-second clip.
Before we can do a second, the Democrats are the ones. They are the party that cares for the blue collar voter. The Democrats are the ones who put in social.
Not anymore. That has completely changed, Joy. Yeah, the party is over. Because your policies put forth by Joe Biden, by Kamala Harris, they forced everyone to go and vote with the people who actually cared about them. Donald Trump cares about the working people. Okay? What do the Democrats care about? Where 𝗔𝗫 is going to go use the bathroom at Target. That's their priority. While Donald Trump is trying to work effectively to get the price of groceries down by opening up America's energy engine, what do they care about? Yeah, making sure that your daughter is competing against somebody who claims to be a daughter of someone else because they've changed. These are the reasons why the American people have rejected Kamala Harris and the working class abandoning them.
Security, Medicare, Medicaid, union protection,
ACA,
unemployment insurance, and Obamacare. The Republican Party doesn't give a rat's patootie about it.
They didn't convince
Come on.
the voters
So all I can deduce is that it's...
And then the applause sign goes up in the studio. Okay, guys, yeah, she's struggling. She hit the applause button so everyone sees and we can get all the lemmings and all the sheep to clap along with her lies. I'm not even going to continue playing it anymore. I'm so sick of the View. But here we have, yes, did you hear about this? Now they want to put Kamala Harris on the Supreme Court.
It's a what liberal, and so I hope that Joe Biden makes the next 10 weeks as consequential as he can. I don't care about drawing outside the lines of what Republicans may think about it. This is within your purview. You can actually do it, and you should do it. And you know, one more thing, John, is you have a hell of a vice president right there who has a legal pedigree to sit on the Supreme Court, and let Republicans go crazy and hate. I'm even mentioning that option.
You're floating. Are you floating? This is 7:39 a.m. on the East Coast. Did Bacardi Sellers just float Vice President Kamala Harris as a potential Supreme Court nominee?
Not only am I floating it, but I want to stir up everything. I want people's heads to explode this morning so we go into the weekend just knowing that the chaos has not ended just yet.
The chaos hasn't ended yet. Now now we have this special counsel, this just in, Jack Smith, filing a motion in President-elect Trump's criminal trial to pause the case as a result of the election. So Jack Smith, your party's over too, buddy. And it is official now. The motion has been filed. Oh, have you seen this kid before? Oh yeah, he's another paid Democrat operative. He was out there saying, oh, Biden and Kamala, like just real cheerleader for them. Well, guess what he said? Brian, go vertical, please.
Continues. Here's the good news about the 2024 presidential election, and there's not much. We're all very sad right now. We're all very disappointed. We're all very shocked. But there's one piece of good news that I can think about right now, and it's that the resistance continues. The resistance against Donald Trump and their awful Republican policy continues. The Republicans have this idea in their head right now that you, me, and everybody else are just going to lay down. We've given up. We're not doing it anymore. Wrong. Wrong, wrong, wrong. We're still here. We're still fighting. We mourn for a week. We get our thoughts together. We recalibrate, and we get back out there. Like, if Republicans think that women, people of color, members of the LGBTQ+ community are just going to sit down and let them do their thing, no. Sorry, not happening. And here's the thing. I know for a fact that if Donald Trump tries to hurt the American people, make our lives harder, we will give him help. We will make his presidency impossible if he tries to pass policy and legislation that takes rights away from people. I know you want to be part of that.
Okay, yeah, you know what? Again, more lies. There's never been any type of discussion from the Trump camp in that direction at all. Donald Trump wants more freedom for everybody. Okay? Everybody. So when this kid goes on his TikTok, he does his TikTok dances with his buddies, he is continuing to spread the lies and disinformation just like we just saw on The View. Oh, and did you guys see what this? Here is, oh, we have, if you're wondering, this is Tampon Tim's woke daughter. This is what she's up to now.
Watching Outer Banks. Okay, I'm sitting here on my couch eating SpongeBob mac and cheese and watching Outer Banks, and
Okay, so she's eating SpongeBob mac and cheese, watching Outer Banks. Drew Hernandez posted this.
just have a couple like initial post-election thoughts. I've like officially reached the point of anger, and I'm not an angry person, so I'm just trying to channel it. The first one being, this country does not deserve Kamala Harris. That woman should go live her best life wherever she wants, doing whatever she wants, because we don't deserve her at this point. The only people that delivered this election were black women, and we failed them. And it's just heartbreaking, and we've got to do whatever we can to support them and support our people through these next 4 years. Another one?
You know, if there's anything that I want to ban right now, is when people say, living your best life. I want that phrase to be banned. No one should be allowed to say that anymore. Okay? Living your best life. Oh.
Is these people have to live in their own skin, as in J.D. Vance and Donald Trump have to be J.D. Vance and Donald Trump. And that is not a punishment I would wish upon anybody except those two individuals. Yeah, so I'm just really grateful that I am who I am and that I'm on the side of love and hope and joy and progress.
Yeah, so just make sure you wash your bowl when you're done with your SpongeBob mac and cheese there. What else do we got? Oh, goodness gracious. Stacey Abrams, man, she's back. Yeah, she says it's time once again to resist Trump and set politeness aside. Now, if you've been paying attention, you know Donald Trump has even floated the idea of pardoning Hunter Biden. He has also stated, and he said, let's help Kamala pay off her debts from her campaign. Nothing but olive branches from Donald Trump. But what do we get from the left? Nothing but hatred, and they want to resist, continual resistance. But I mean, Stacey Abrams, she's nothing but a grift anyway. She's got to see all these talking points that they're continuing to throw out to their audience, is just so that she can continue to fundraise and so she can maintain some level of relevance. All right? But she has no relevance. If anything, she needs to go to a dentist.
And I remember 2016. I remember inauguration 2017. I remember that the last time we found ourselves facing this set of dynamics, we sparked a resistance. It was a decision that was grounded in not knowing what was to come. We just knew what we'd been told, and we saw what we could see, and we pushed back. We railed against, and as more and more evidence piled up, we organized and we persisted.
Evidence of what? Evidence of what? Anything that's been thrown at Donald Trump has been thrown out.
Anyways, it worked. In fact, for a brief moment, we united against racism and sexism, homophobia and ableism, and those who would do any of us ill. We came together. And then it started to fall apart again, or so it seems. Because November 5th happened, and they're back. And they've written Project 2025, and they've used invective. And
okay, see here another talking point they continue to spew. Project 2025. Donald Trump has nothing to do with it, and they continue to just use that as a fear tactic. More lies.
Insult and promises to tell us what they will do. And now we know what to expect. Unlike 2016, we know what could happen because we have a Supreme Court that said we're going to not hold them accountable because we have a U.S. Senate that has
okay, you know what? There's 4 minutes of her blabbering in her pie hole, and I am not going to continue playing it. Okay, let's go back to the Jack Smith point. Horizontal, please. Jack Smith has filed a motion to remove all remaining court dates in his witch hunt against Trump. The next step will be to drop all of the cases. Here we are as a result of the election held on November 5th, 2024. The defendant is expected to be certified as president-elect on January 6, 2025, and inaugurated on January 20, 2025. The government respectfully requests that the court vacate the remaining deadlines in the pretrial schedule to afford the government time to assess this unprecedented circumstance and determine the appropriate course going forward consistent with Department of Justice policy. The lawfare is over. God won. Donald Trump won. God put his servant back into the White House, and now everything they threw at him is falling apart. But the left continues to have their meltdowns and continue to have their resistance parties. Charlie Kirk pointing out that the 3 days since Trump's historic landslide, the EU says it wants to buy American natural gas. Putin says he'll sell Russian oil in U.S. dollars. Hamas is calling for peace, and Zelensky held a private meeting, phone call with Trump as well as Elon Musk. And now, listen to this. The EU is planning to purchase oil from the U.S. instead of Russia. And it's only been 3 days. He's working the phones and getting all the world leaders to open their checkbooks. Let's listen in here.
It's the whole topic, I would not say discussed, but we touched upon yesterday. It's the whole topic of LNG. We still get a lot of LNG via Russia, from Russia. And why not replace it by American LNG, which is cheaper for us and brings down our energy prices, but it's something where we can get into a discussion, also what our trade deficit is concerned. So engage, look at common interest, and then negotiate. I would not say discuss, but we touched upon it.
Oh, the world is coming around to the new vision for America as laid out by Donald Trump. Oh, did you guys see this video? Yeah, there's Kamala Harris, her face, her mural, in that Obama-esque style. Well, now she's getting painted over because the joy is officially gone. And, okay, so what else we got? Leo Carroll was posting this, that Filion says they can't stop Trump from removing illegal aliens. Let's listen to what talking about.
Trump. So California Governor Gavin Newsom declaring, quote, "The freedoms we hold dear in California are under attack, and we won't sit idle." He's calling for a special legislative session to safeguard liberal California policies. The state's attorney general also warned of a second Trump term.
You can be sure that as California Attorney General, if Trump attacks your rights, I'll be there. If Trump comes after your freedoms, I'll be there. If Trump jeopardizes your safety and your well-being, I'll be there.
Fox News contributor and civil rights attorney Leo Terrell joins us now. So Leo, you got violent criminals all over the state. Attacking people, stealing people's personal property, you know, because they passed a law that said you can steal under $1,000 without the police showing up to the scene. I never remember the Attorney General banging on the table saying he's going to be there for them.
You know, Lawrence, did you hear what he said? He said nothing, just word salad. And what you have is you have Governor Newsom, who is a lame duck governor, trying to become relevant. It's a lame duck idea. They're going to have a legislative session in December to stop President Trump. Trump doesn't take office until January. And here's the point that's amazing. They can't stop Trump from removing illegal immigrants out of California. They cannot stop ICE from arresting illegal immigrants who have committed crimes. They can't do any of that. They're just talking. They're trying to remain relevant. And one point, Prop 36, a bill to increase penalties for shoplifting, passed by 70%. Gavin Newsom was opposed to that bill. These Democrats are in denial, Lawrence. They don't listen to the average American voter. Trump does, they don't.
Well, it's also a little delusional. I mean, let's just pop up this map of California. I've never seen California with so much red. I mean, and you just compare it to 2020, you would think there would be some like self-reflection and say, hey, maybe we need to change some things, or we may flip.
Look at that map. Look at that map. Look at it closely. Gavin Newsom thinks he's going to go up against all that red? I think not.
To be in a Republican state.
I'll tell you what the problem is. The Democrats don't want to tell the truth. Donald Trump's message resonates with the average voter. That graphic earlier today on the show proves it all. Democrats is the party of the elite, the rich. Most working class Americans support the Trump policies. And what you saw on that map, Lawrence, was California a deep, deep blue state becoming a purple state because of one person, Donald J. Trump. That map is a wake-up call for Democrats. But the problem is they're asleep. They're in denial.
Yep.
Yeah, they're too busy calling everything racist and misogynist. Every single group of people.
People see through it. That line is over. No one believes it anymore. They have actually diluted those lines. They have diluted that message. Here we have the Trump effect in full play. 48 hours since his election, appoints the first ever woman as chief of staff. The Taliban signals a wish to be removed from the terrorist list. Putin announces the West is no longer viewed as the enemy. Mexico discouraging large caravans from heading to the U.S. border. New York halts food vouchers for illegal immigrants. China expresses a desire for peaceful coexistence with America. European Union leaders announce plans to prioritize American gas over Russian supplies. Hamas calls for an end to the war. Bitcoin hits an all-time high. The stock market soaring to new records. Let's listen to what this guy's saying.
The European Union, Donald Trump's not even president yet. Have you seen what's happened in the last 48 hours? The misogynist appoints the first ever woman to be chief of staff. The Taliban announced they want peace with America and to be taken off the terrorist list. Putin came out and said that Western civilization is not an enemy. Mexico has started securing the border in, of course, response to tariff threats. Saudi Arabia is kicking out all of their Hamas leaders. New York is cleaning up their illegal migrant crisis. 𝗔𝗵 came out and said he wants to peacefully coexist with China and said that they respect American people. The European Union chief finally came out and said, hey, America, can we start buying LNG from you so they stop buying from Russian gas? Putin says he takes Donald Trump's plan to end the war with Ukraine very seriously, and Russia supports it. The Houthis are stepping back. The Hamas called for an immediate end to war. He's calling for term limits in from Congress so that way people like Nancy Pelosi stop being forever members. Stock markets and crypto hit all-time highs. He sent Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton into depression. Because of all of this amazing news, white, liberal, ugly women are now refusing to have sex with men. America is, in fact, being made great again. Donald Trump's not even president yet. Have you...
America is being made great again. Oh, and it's happening. You're watching it. Oh, and you can go horizontal, Brian. Did you hear about this? Yeah, if you're following us on X, you may have seen the post. Just in time, the U.S. House has announced a hearing on UFOs scheduled for November 13th, where lawmakers are expected to discuss recent reports, government transparency, and potential national security implications of unidentified aerial phenomena. Is that a distraction or something else? Okay, listen to this too. This is interesting. Joe Rogan says Elon Musk knew Trump would win the election hours before it was announced. He had like some kind of an app. It wasn't just X. Elon Musk has got some magic sauce that he's stirring up. Listen to this.
And every chance, beginning of the night, no one knew what was going to happen. So you're watching the first results roll in, and there's like this weird thing. And then Trump gets way ahead, but you're like, you don't want to like get too hopeful. Like, how far ahead is he? He's ahead by 100 points. That seems like a lot.
Yeah, and you're like, what is it? And some channels are like, and then every channel's kind of different.
Yeah, they had different numbers. I was getting a different number off my Apple News update than I was getting off of CNN, and then I was texting people, like Tulsi and J.D. Vance. I was getting a different Apparently, Elon created an app, and he knew who won 4 hours before the results. So as the results were coming in, 4 hours before they called it, Dana White told me, Elon was like, I'm leaving, it's over, Donald won. He just fucking somehow or another.
I'm gonna go back into my pod and evaporate.
I don't know what he's getting, where he's pulling his data from, but he had like the most accurate data in terms of the rural states hadn't put the results in yet, but yet Trump was ahead in these states. Kamala's never gonna win those states, so tabulated that and like put it all together. I don't know how he did it. But
yeah.
Dana told, I haven't even talked to Elon about this. I don't know like the Dana translation, but Dana said he had an app, and he was like showing him. He's like, it's over. He fucking left. Dude just left.
It's over. John Jones won.
Just saying that. He just fucking left. Beginning.
Wow. I mean, so if Elon's got an app that can go ahead and determine the election results 4 hours before it actually hits, imagine what he'll do when he is ahead of the Department of Government Efficiency. Here we have, okay, so this is another thing that's happening. Okay, they're saying that there's racist text messages floating around, right? People are apparently text messaging black people horrible things. Okay, let's listen to what MSNBC is saying about this.
Jonathan, there was a woman who told NBC she sees these texts as a scare tactic, but that it's working. I've seen videos of people on social media, people who did not get texts, but who are breaking down in tears, who are talking as the woman whose sound we played, are thinking about how they are going to explain what's going on to their kids. Tell me, what's going on here as you see it?
Well, you know, on election night on PBS, after it became clear that Donald Trump was on his way to the presidency, that I said that I was concerned on multiple levels. And the first level I said was I was concerned as an African American. And I was concerned as an African American because of the rhetoric used by Donald Trump on the campaign trail.
What rhetoric did he use on the campaign trail that terrified you so much? What? Give me a chance? What have the Democrats done for you? I mean, what rhetoric? I've listened to the entire campaign, covered it. I never heard anything that was like denigrating or threatening to the African American community at all. So these people are living in a delusional world, and then they go and broadcast this on MSNBC and further embed the lies and disinformation into their viewership.
that he wanted to let police have a day, some sort of day of rage where they can get the crime situation under control in various cities. Well,
a day of rage to get crime under control? What are you implying that black people are leading the charge in crime? Is that what you're implying here?
The dog whistle there is that he's going to go after black people. And so to see that these text messages were going out the day after he becomes president-elect just feeds into the fear and concern that a lot of African Americans have about what is to come. And
you know what's funny is they keep reporting on these text messages, but they never show them. Can someone show me the text messages? I mean, put them on the screen. But of course they won't do that. Tom Elliott says there's as much evidence MAGA is behind those racist text messages as there is Hillary Clinton or Russia or the CIA, yet that isn't stopping WAPO's Capehart from pinning the blame on Trump. Here's a great clip I pulled for you guys. 𝘁𝗵𝘁 𝗁, just a month ago, says Trump is a fascist and will destroy democracy. And now he's saying, 𝘁𝗵𝘁, we lied. Listen to this. This is a great video.
How America, I think that she should keep calling Donald Trump a fascist, and I think that Americans need to keep looking at the rhetoric of Donald Trump, because I don't know why we're even thinking about electing somebody who's talking about putting people in camps. I don't know why we're talking, or why we want to elect somebody who's talking about mass deportation. I don't know why we're having this conversation about somebody who wants to terminate the Constitution.
Don't y'all find it strange that now that he's won, they're not calling him a threat to democracy? They're not calling him a fascist. I mean, damn, on Monday...
They're not calling him anything.
On Monday, they was just calling him that. I would think that, if you really believe that, then somebody's speech would be about how America effed up and how things are about to be really bad.
He's the most powerful man in the world now.
It just makes you wonder how much of it did they really believe and how much of it was just politics.
Yeah, how much they believe and how much is politics, but yet he's going out there and he's making the language, he's putting out that rhetoric. But it's all changing, it's all collapsing, all around them, and I am here for every minute of it with you. So from the streets of New York to the heart of middle America, we're witnessing a nation transform. The left's mask is off, their calls for unity replaced by naked hatred for Trump supporters, but their hysteria can't hide the truth. America is turning right. Even Jack Smith is backing down, moving to pause his witch hunt against our president-elect. The tide isn't just turning, it's become a tsunami. Now, here's what I want to know from you. What's the best way to unite our country when half of the population is having a complete meltdown? Share your thoughts below. All right, I saw some super chats come through while we were here. Okay, we got some Canadian cash coming in. Okay, we also got, Daddy Trump is home. Oh my goodness. Wow, look at all these super chats. I gotta get caught up here. Okay, Studio 0530. If you can't follow orders, it is treason. Ruby Sue drop in at $10, and she doesn't say anything, she just wants to contribute, and we thank you for that. We've also got Chosen 1956. Their bravado will not hold up. Who else have we got here? Did that show on the screen? I think it did. And we've got, oh yes, it did. It did. All right, Elizabeth T. is saying, it's lagging over here. Let me see if I can figure out how to say this correctly. Okay. Elizabeth T. Daddy Trump is home. Daddy Trump is home. And he's pissed. Winston David dropping $10. Just wanted to say, God bless Trump and you. Thank you, Winston Davis. We've also got another $10 from Wounds Are Us. I think is what it is. No Cornyn, no Thune, and no Pompeo. Yes, we don't want them anywhere near this administration. We've got RPH Jacobs saying, Kentucky girl here. We were one of the first to call Trump our winner for our state, so appreciate your channel. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Kentucky girl. Scott Trudeau up in Canada, and he has this to say: Trump will clean house immediately, drain the swamp on day one, January 21st, 2025. Yes, I am anxious for that. Another one, from another 10, from Wounds Are Us, who says, do they realize that when they spew their garbage, there are many more of us than them? No, I don't think they recognize it. See, they live in an echo chamber because they're stuck sitting there watching MSNBC and believing all of the lies. Here is Roger Top, and he says, and it drops $25. Roger Lalick. He says, keep up the tremendous work, Gary. God bless America, and God bless the next news network. Well, I will tell you this, Roger. God has blessed us tremendously by giving us this position, by entrusting us to speak to you day after day, and entrusting us with the weapons to push back against the lies with the sword of truth that he has put in our hand, he has put in Donald Trump's hand, and he's put in your hand. We are giving you the tools to push back on these lies every single day. Here is Teddy Harrington, who just dropped a couple minutes ago. He says, $10. Thank you, Teddy. Think about it, Gary. If they can acknowledge a man being a woman, which is delusional, then they are operating in delusion normally. Yeah, well, that's the case, Teddy. They are living in a delusional world. And then we have simply $5 from F. Joe Biden. He needs to court-martial some of these generals. Well, I think we're going to see that very, very soon. If you want your message seen, if you want your message heard, make sure you drop a super chat. The chat room is absolutely on fire right now. I can hardly keep up with it. Thank you. I see all the hearts you guys are dropping too. It is beautiful to see all the 100%, the hearts. Okay, Rainbow Melon just dropped a 2-spot. Woke up to MAGA. Great day to be alive. Yes, Rainbow Melon. It is the MAGA, the first official MAGA weekend in the United States. I hope you're having a wonderful weekend so far. And thank you for joining us on this special Saturday broadcast where we are just breaking all kinds of streaming records. I've never seen it. We had up to over 14,500 people watching. So keep sharing, keep spreading the message, and again, this is the key. This is the key. I need to drill this into your head. Text message. You have to put the stream link into your phone, copy the link, and text it to your friends. That way, it cannot be suppressed. All right? And if you're part of our X Army, retweet, retweet, retweet. If you're not part of it yet, make sure you go to our X account and you follow us on X. You help us increase our numbers. Retweet everything that we put out that you agree with. Quote tweet it, reply, do whatever it is that you do, but be the first one, because a lot of times you won't see, if we're not posting during the day on YouTube, trust me, I'm posting on X, and there are things I post there you won't see on YouTube. So make sure you are part of our X Army. We've got another one from Papa's Farm, who says, Christ is king and Trump is POTUS. Amen. $1.99. F. Joe Biden also dropping another 5-spot. Suspend all security clearances and review them all. That is awesome. Yes, suspend them. All those people that signed that document claiming Hunter Biden's laptop was phony Russian disinformation, yeah, every one of them, their security clearances must be revoked. Okay, folks, we've got more news. This is probably the most consequential story that we have been tracking since it broke. We've got lots of reaction coming out now, and we are going to present it to you. because it is outrageous what has occurred. But it confirms everything that we've been saying. Remember, oh, it's a conspiracy. No, it's a fact. It's a fact because there are people on the ground experiencing it, and now we're going to share that with you. Tonight, we expose something so shocking, so fundamentally un-American, it will make your blood boil. A high-ranking FEMA official who has now been identified as Marnie Washington, who tried to hide behind the name of Mariana Gatlinburg. Well, she ordered disaster relief workers at FEMA to skip homes with Trump signs. Let that sink in. At least 20 American families devastated by Hurricane Milton were denied help because of their political beliefs. FEMA claims they're horrified, but here's what they won't tell you. This wasn't just one rogue official. This was the deep state showing its true colors. And just like FEMA's mask has fallen, showing their true nature, your skin can reveal signs of weakness and fatigue. These government agents may discriminate, but nature doesn't. We all face the same battle against aging. After age 20, your body's collagen production drops dramatically, just like our institution's integrity under Biden. But while we can't trust FEMA, you can trust this revolutionary collagen formula. Unlike typical supplements, it combines 5 critical types of collagen to keep you strong and resilient. Do your body a favor. Get it today, plus 51% off, only at healthwithgary.com. Plus, if you order today, you'll get free VIP live health and fitness coaching for life, a free new ebook titled The 14 Foods for Amazing Skin, a 60-day satisfaction guarantee, and free shipping. Once again, that's healthwithgary.com. You'll simply click the link down below. Okay, this is probably the most important story, other than the fact that we've been tracking how the Pentagon is already working to try to push back against so-called Trump orders, but this is very dangerous. This shows the twisted internal feelings and directives of members of our own government, FEMA, the agency that is tasked with protecting the United States in times of national distress. An agent of FEMA, what happened? She decided that she was going to put out this directive to deny Trump supporters support, effectively leaving Trump supporters to die. We have this here. This came from the Daily Wire. I've got lots of reaction. But first, let's take a look at how Fox covered this.
Lawmakers now confirming a report that says after Hurricane Milton, a FEMA supervisor told disaster relief workers in Florida to avoid homes with Trump signs in their yards. FEMA says it believes the incident is isolated, and the supervisor who gave the anti-Trump order is no longer in that role. The senior national correspondent Kevin Cork is live in D.C. with what we're learning about this tonight. Kevin, good evening.
Trace, quite a story. Imagine if you've been impacted by a major storm, hoping the government, the one that you send your taxpayer funds to, will aid in your recovery, only to discover that if you support Donald Trump, they're going to ignore you altogether. And that's apparently what happened in the great state of Florida, where a FEMA supervisor allegedly told workers in a message to avoid homes advertising Trump as they canvassed Lake Placid, Florida, to identify residents who could qualify for federal aid. And tonight, credit where credit is due, that FEMA official has been removed from her role by the agency. In a statement to Fox News Digital, a FEMA spokesperson said the agency is deeply disturbed, noting the official who gave the instruction was given no direction to tell teams to avoid these homes. Quote, while we believe this is an isolated incident, we have taken measures to remove the employee from their role and are investigating the matter to prevent this from happening ever again.
Okay, well, what about when FEMA prioritizes diversity, equity, and inclusion? I mean, we've been tracking it. James O'Keefe, he's exposed this. When they prioritize diversity, equity, and inclusion, they are embedding their racist ideology and their hatred into and institutionalizing it. So then you get these people like this woman here. This is the woman who thinks that she's going to go ahead and execute that directive, because that's how she interprets it. The FEMA supervisor who instructed disaster relief to avoid homes advertising Trump has been relieved of her duties. Here she is. This is from Matt Wallace, the fat FEMA official fired for ordering staff to skip over providing aid to Trump's supporter. This is her right here. She has now been officially identified. The Oversight Committee now has now invited FEMA Administrator Criswell to testify at a hearing to answer for the agency's response to Hurricanes Helene and Milton, and to investigate why hurricane-impacted Americans were discriminated against for supporting President Trump. So now, this is getting even bigger. Here's the letter that was sent by James Comer, and it's getting even bigger. Okay, so look at this. This is how we discovered who she was. Trump-hating Marnie Washington, assigned to the Highlands region as Crew 49 lead. This is the official FEMA Disaster Survivor Assistance chart. And if we zoom in, you can see right there, Crew 49 lead T, Marnie Washington, right there. Okay? Now, if we take a look at the text messages that were sent, however they were distributed, here it is. This is from the Daily Wire. They're the ones that broke the story. But if you look at the top, it says Crew 33 Best Practices. Avoid homes advertising Trump. Avoid homes advertising Trump. Apparently now, she has two names. It's being reported she changed her name on LinkedIn instead of deleting her account like a normal person would do. She simply changed her name. She was probably getting searched up. People were probably sending her messages. And, well, not anymore. You can't hide. Ron DeSantis is investigating as well the blatant weaponization of government by partisan activists in the federal bureaucracy. Is another reason why the Biden-Harris administration is in its final days. At my direction, the Division of Emergency Management is launching an investigation into federal government-targeted discrimination of Floridians who support Donald Trump. New leadership is on the way in D.C., and I'm optimistic that these partisan bureaucrats will be fired. Oh yes, well, she was fired. Here is her certificate of completion, Marnie Washington. She hates Trump supporters and used her position in FEMA to order her group not to give support to those who had Trump signs or flags. Oh my goodness. Feels good to knock out another certification before the new year. Victory loves preparation. But you hate people simply because they support President Trump. And you're not going to provide the support that FEMA is directed to provide because of a Trump sign? This goes beyond accountability being fired. This is criminal. This could, maybe it's attempted murder. If you search for Marnie Washington on LinkedIn, you can see her picture and her job history, currently employed with FEMA, in addition to a couple other gigs, and her name is now Mariana Gatlinburg. Where'd you get that name? Donald Trump Jr. weighing in. This is outrageous, even for the Democrats in charge, and should be criminal. These people should be ousted from FEMA, government, and society. A full investigation is in order. FEMA official ordered relief workers to skip houses with Trump signs. Marty in the fall, tweeting as well, FEMA supervisor removed over controversial Trump-related directive. Marty Washington, FEMA supervisor, has been relieved of her duties after reportedly instructing disaster relief officials to avoid homes advertising Trump. According to an official statement, Washington allegedly communicated this directive both verbally and via Microsoft Teams to relief workers in Florida after the hurricane. That is sourced by Fox News. Oh, Judge Jeanine, she's not happy either. Here she is in a late night post. She didn't even have time to put her makeup on. She was so pissed.
Now, I get up and read at all hours of the night. What I just read makes me crazy. A FEMA manager directed that employees under that person's direction avoid all homes where there was any support or any signage supporting Donald Trump. So you've got the Federal Emergency Management Agency officials saying, do not help people who support Donald Trump. Now, if you ever question whether or not they hate us, whether it was just, hyperbole and exaggeration, and they really didn't mean it, they literally put it in writing in a team chat to avoid homes where Hurricane Milton destroyed areas where people supported Donald Trump. The people on the left are haters. And I'm telling you, if Kamala Harris got elected, I don't know where we would be. But thank God for Donald Trump. And this woman has not been fired. She is no longer in that role, quote unquote. I don't give a damn. She needs to lose her job.
Apparently her job has been taken from her. We've got some more on this. This is insane. Now, Daily Wire, they're the ones that broke this story, so kudos to them. This is Fox and Friends Weekend co-host reacting to their news.
Now, according to the Daily Wire, this is a staggering story. FEMA officials, which should be helping everybody, directed hurricane relief workers in Florida to avoid certain homes that had Trump signs in their lawn. Okay, here's the report according to the Daily Wire. A FEMA supervisor told workers in a message to avoid homes advertising Trump as they canvassed Lake Placid, Florida to identify residents who could qualify for federal aid, internal messages viewed by the Daily Wire reveal. The supervisor, Marnie Washington, relayed this message both verbally and in group chat used by the relief team. Multiple government employees told the Daily Wire. So now hurricane relief also politicized.
Yeah, no question. And by the way, there was already outrage that so many FEMA funds had been raided to give to illegal immigrants. And so obviously people are saying we gotta take the politics out of something as essential as emergency relief. I mean, this is insane. And by the way, the FEMA spokesperson has a statement. FEMA helps all survivors regardless of their political preference or affiliation, and we are deeply disturbed by this employee's actions. While we believe this is an isolated incident, we've taken measures to remove the employee from their role and are investigating the matter to prevent this from happening ever again. The employee who issued this guidance had no authority and was given no direction from anyone to tell teams to avoid these homes, and we are reaching out to the people who have not been reached as a result of this incident. Will, I'm surprised that, you see lots of agencies getting politicized. This is one you really wouldn't expect.
Well, it's not just, to me, my focus is less on FEMA and more, I would imagine this is the case in every government agency, and what it does is show the depth of the cancer inside of our government, and that you have to root out politicization at the highest levels, for example, the DOJ, but you have to also understand there's a bureaucracy under every one of these state departments where you have, foot soldiers who behave in the same manner as Merrick Garland. And in order to really reform the bureaucracy, I actually think we are going to need, like Elon Musk walking through the lobbies of Washington, D.C. with a sink in his hands. He's going to have to sit there with the Department of Government Efficiency and cut it down to the size you could drown it in a bathtub. Otherwise, this is where we are now.
This is where we are. Thankfully, this was exposed. Absolutely disgraceful that this would happen in America. Oh man. Let's see what else we got. Oh, here's more.
Has been removed from their role. Welcome back. A FEMA official has been removed from their role after a message shows the employee directing disaster relief workers to skip homes advertising support for President-elect Trump after devastating hurricane damage in Florida. Madison Scarpino is live with the very latest on this story. And Madison, are we learning what's happening to this employee?
Anita, we're still waiting to clarify the exact measures that have been taken. As you mentioned, they say that the employee has been removed from their role, but FEMA tells Fox they are deeply disturbed and horrified by this. And now, FEMA, House Republicans, and Florida officials are all investigating the incident. And this all happened in Highlands County, Florida, back in October last month. The county was hit hard by Hurricane Milton and backed President-elect Trump by over 56% on Tuesday.
The Daily Wire obtained private messages showing a FEMA official instructing workers there to avoid homes advertising Trump. In a system tracking applications, hurricane relief workers would enter. They made no contact with that resident, saying, quote, Trump sign, no contact per leadership, according to the report. Now, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is calling this a blatant weaponization of government. It goes on to say, with new leadership on its way to D.C., he's optimistic these partisan bureaucrats will be fired. And Senator James Lankford is another Republican calling for an investigation into this. He says, quote, my office has already been in contact with FEMA about this. It is true. I'm grateful FEMA is taking action to address it, but we'll closely monitor to ensure this can never happen again. FEMA is there to help, not discriminate. But
oh my goodness. So imagine this. This was posted. Imagine your house is in ruins from a hurricane. All your family memories, passed down items, and the things that make us all feel like home is a special place are all gone. And this FEMA employee decides, based on who you vote for, whether or not to help you or not. Here is James O'Keefe revealing the DEI standards from a whistleblower inside FEMA that have basically become a cancerous sore inside that agency, leading to moments like we're seeing now.
Internet. My name is Kelsey Goodman. I'm here to blow the whistle on FEMA. There are still people that are missing. Rivers that were existing before have now turned into lakes. There are still communities without power, without water, without access to cell phones or internet. You can go on the FEMA website. The #1 goal of FEMA is to instill equity in emergency management. It's not to save lives. It's not to create stronger communities that will weather future disasters. It's to instill equity.
It almost feels like I'm being asked to give my opinion on equity to the state, and I am not comfortable at all doing that.
Right now, we ask that you do it. You tell us how you did it, and the guidance is the guidance until you get further instructions.
Wow. That's where we're at, folks. Firing her is not the answer. Arrest and prosecute. She instructed FEMA disaster relief officials to avoid homes that were advertising Trump. Yeah, this is where we're at, folks. But there are investigations at the federal level with the Oversight Committee, as well as in Florida with Ron DeSantis. So this is not going away anytime soon. This is not the end of the story, and it's a story we will continue to track. So the FEMA scandal isn't just about discrimination, it's about the weaponization of government against the American people. Well, Governor DeSantis launches an investigation and Donald Trump Jr. calls for criminal charges. We have to ask, how deep does this rot go? Marnie Washington has been removed, but she is just the tip of the iceberg. This is what happens when partisan activists infiltrate our emergency services. So here's my question to you, patriots. What should be the punishment for government officials who deny Americans help based on their political beliefs? Let us know in the comments below. Okay, we got some more super chats to get into right now. A couple more have arrived. Someone needs to answer the question after Joe Biden says, someone needs to answer the question, why, if you are not working for the government, do you have security clearance for the government? Exactly. TC, dropping a 10 spot, says, thank you, Jesus, and thank you, Gary. Yes, we give glory to God here every single day. Gemini Moon from Canada, dropping a 20 spot. They need to take all the satanic rituals down, starting with Satan's Arch in Washington. They need to save the children. And then we have Chathana dropping a 5 spot. Let's get serious. What do we do with traitors? And then we have this. Gary, thank you for standing against the censor culture. Well, it has not been easy. Let me tell you, there's been a lot of pain that you guys don't see. Now we have Jesse Heller dropping $4.99. Abolish mutilation. not abolish abortion. I'm glad Trump is in, but if we want to be truly blessed, follow God's law fully. And then we have August Bliss dropping a 20 spot. Wow, you guys are on fire tonight. Thank you. Saying, I'm uncertain of Department of Efficiency. It is the people that should decide that. I don't want that department to get too much power and control. Who decides effectiveness? What does it look like? Very good concerns, August Bliss. I think that when you put Elon Musk in charge, when you put someone like Ron Paul, who's going to be working alongside them, I think we got a pretty good starting point, but I totally get it. We don't want to continue to grow the size of the government. That's a major concern for a lot of us. Government should be downsizing, and having a department there that's going to help with the downsizing, I'd say let it be. Let's give it a shot. But let's keep a close eye on it. That's our job as Americans, to watch how government acts. Just like we're watching with this 𝗔𝗶 situation. And we have another one from Real Power. Canadian $10 bill, please inform us on Trump appointees. We certainly will. That is all developing in the background. Some of those appointees, we don't know exactly who they're going to be. Once we have a clear picture of what the cabinet makeup is going to be, we will be sure to report it for you. Liberty Bell Lyric dropping a 5 spot. Great coverage. Hi, Gary and Angie. Amanda Moore! Oh, Amanda! Oh, Amanda! Here's a big virtual hug for you. Oh, my God. It's so good to see you here. Oh, Amanda. Amen. Oh, man, it's been so long. It has been so long, hasn't it? Wow. Great to see you here. And then we have Kyle Evans dropping a 20 spot just 43 seconds ago. He says, take their citizenship and send them to China. Oh, my goodness. Oh, boy. There are so many chat messages coming through right now. If you want your voice to be heard, make sure you drop the super chat so I can read it. It'll be highlighted on the screen, and we will make sure it is heard. Let's get into some of the latest goings-on right now, the latest news that is happening. Let's get to the top of the feed. Okay, Donald Trump posts from his Truth Social. Oh, wow. This just came in an hour ago. I will not be inviting former Ambassador Nikki Haley or former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo to join the Trump administration, which is currently in formation. I very much enjoyed and appreciate working with them previously, and I would like to thank them for their service to our country. Well, that's good news. Nikki Haley and Pompeo are out of the picture. That just came in. If you're wondering why Democrats fight so hard against voter ID laws, wonder no more. Look at that. States Harris 1 versus ID requirements. Look at that. Clear as day. Eric Doherty reporting as well what we just stated. President-elect Trump announces Pompeo and Nikki Haley are out of the next administration. As it's happening right now in Seattle, thousands of people outside the Space Needle protesting Donald Trump winning the presidential election. Well, scream at the sky all you want, because he is your president, whether you like it or not. Inauguration Day is going to be something beautiful. We're going to see a lot of screaming liberals, aren't we? The first human case of H5 bird flu has been detected in Canada. Donald Trump announcing his 10-point plan to rebuild America's school system. Let's listen.
We will respect. Here are 10 key ideas that will power our movement for great schools. First, we will respect the right of parents to control the education of their children. Second, we will empower parents and local school boards to hire and reward great principals and teachers, and also to fire the poor ones, the one whose performance is unsatisfactory. They will be fired. Like on The Apprentice, you're fired. Third, we will ensure our classrooms are focused not on political indoctrination, but on teaching the knowledge and skills needed to succeed. Reading, writing, math, science, arithmetic, and other truly useful subjects. Fourth, we will teach students to love their country, not to hate their country like they're taught right now. Fifth, we will support bringing back prayer to our schools. Sixth, we will achieve schools that are safe, secure, and drug-free, with immediate expulsion for any student who harms a teacher or another student. Seventh, we will give all parents the right to choose another school for their children if they want, school choice. Eighth, we will ensure students have access to project-based learning experiences inside the classroom to help train them for meaningful work outside the classroom. Ninth, we will strive to give all students access to internships and work experiences that can set them on a path to their first job. They're going to be very, very successful. I want them to be more successful than Trump. Let them go out and be more successful. I will be the happiest person in the world. But we want our children to have a great life and be successful. And 10th, we will ensure that all schools provide excellent jobs and career counseling so that high school and college students can get a head start on jobs and careers best suited to their God-given talents. This is how we will ensure a great education for every American child.
And amen. Thank you, President Trump. Making schools great again. We have this. Okay, this is continuing with Pompeo and Haley. They are out. Let's see. Tucker Carlson has a new product out as well. Yeah, this is all top of the list right now. Everyone is reporting that Haley and Pompeo are out. This is all trending real time right now. The Los Angeles Police Department says police will not participate in mass deportations. What I can say here, when you talk of mass roundups or the police department being involved, we don't want that kind of thing. Okay, fine. I'm sure President Trump will find a way around you guys. David Hale, consumer, make this the Republican Party again, please. Really? No, we're done with these guys. These guys are gone. They are out. Excuse me. Okay, great historical quotes from our presidents. Leave nothing for tomorrow which can be done today. Abraham Lincoln. Forgive your enemies, but never forget their names. John F. Kennedy. Donald Trump. I've never seen a thin person drinking Diet Coke. Here's a picture of liberals right now. Yeah, there they are. Not expecting this to happen. I don't know. Dare I even press this button? No, I'm not going to press that button. Okay. RFK Jr. announcing big changes to public health agencies starting on day one. On day one, we're going to fire.
That map, Lawrence, was
we are just breaking. But
you have Governor Newsom, who's a lame duck governor, trying to become relevant. It's a lame duck idea. They're going to have a legislative session in December to stop President Trump. Trump doesn't take office until January. And here's the point that's amazing. They can't stop Trump from removing illegal immigrants out of California. They cannot stop ICE from arresting illegal immigrants who have committed crimes. They can't do it.
Wrong. Anything that... Look at that map. Look at it closely. Get this would try and determine the election results 4 hours control. So keep up the tremendous work here. It's a conspiracy. Trust this revolutionary.
Are told disaster relief workers in Florida to avoid
Hurricanes Helene and Milton.
Whether or not again, the employee who issued this guidance had no authority and was.
He says, quote,
power control. We invite the McConnell. We'll make sure the results of this poll are sent to GOP senators before they vote on Wednesday. This is Donald Trump post from his Truth Social. Donald Trump issuing this poll. John Cornyn, John Thune, or Rick Scott. No, Rick Scott has got my vote, and there he is, 93% on this poll. Wall Street Apes, this video's got 700,000 likes. I don't even want to look at it. The winning is overwhelming. Here's Roger Stone with Pierce Morgan. Black people, Hispanics, really all people want the same thing: economic opportunity, safe neighborhoods, low gas and food prices. They realize Trump brought us those things before, and he could do it again. Let's hear what Roger Stone has to say.
It is quite staggering that somebody who has been branded the most racist candidate in history, neo-Nazi, a fascist, blah, 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 ended up with this surging support from black voters and particularly from Latino voters when he was up against a female black candidate. What do you think that says about America? Was it just that American voters saw through all the Nazi nonsense?
First of all, it was nonsense. And our mistake, perhaps, as political analysts, is to not realize that black people and Hispanics, and really all people, they all want the same thing. They want economic opportunity and security. They want safe and secure neighborhoods. They want low gas prices. They want low food prices. They realize, based on his 4 years and the last 4 years, that Donald Trump brought us those things before and that he could bring them again. So I think this is why he made these historic gains. Let's recognize that he won an absolute majority of Hispanic Americans. I mean, George W. Bush, I think, had the highest previous high watermark at about 38.5%. So people voted for their future, and they trust him with their future far more than they trusted Kamala Harris.
That's the truth. Okay, we got some super chats, and if you have any super chats you want to get in, you got to get them in now. We're going to be closing the show in a minute, but I want to make sure everyone gets their voice heard. We have Cindy, who's dropping a $10 bill. Thank you, Cindy. No message, but just wants to show her support. We've got Ann Russell dropping a 20 spot. Thank you, Ann. No message, of course, just filling the gas tank over here at the Next News Network. We've got Apogee Health Direct 7 minutes ago saying, going to Movable Feast tomorrow. See you all there. Awesome. Make sure, Apogee, when you go, tell them you saw it on the Next News Network. Call them Gary Franchi and Angie Franchi. Send their regards, and we are fighting for them as much as we possibly can. We just thank them for standing steadfast in their beliefs. We got Real Power sending in a Canadian $10 bill. Trump is the sword of Jehu in the Bible. Bible's version of draining the swamp. Thank you for that. Taylor Soul dropping a $4.99. Thank you for that, Taylor. And then dropping a follow-up for $4.99. And the message here is scamming has increased to $4.6 billion in 2023 under the Biden regime. Trump needs to hold government, housing, scammer call centers accountable. All right, last chance. You got something to say? Time to say it now. We are going to be closing out the show, and we got to get the news up. We got thumbnails we got to create. It's been an amazing show. We hit some amazing records, 14,500 people at the peak of the show, an amazing time. So it doesn't look like there's any more super chats to get to. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you all of our moderators for just being awesome. Now what we've covered tonight isn't just news, it's a snapshot of America at a pivotal moment in history. Just 4 days after Donald Trump's historic landslide victory, we're already seeing the deep state's mask slip off completely. So let's recap what we have uncovered. A FEMA official caught red-handed, ordering workers to deny disaster relief to Trump supporters. Pentagon brass plotting in secret to defy their incoming commander-in-chief. Big tech tyrants trembling as their censorship empire crumbles. And the great American reset that's already reshaping global politics. But here's what ties it all together. Every single one of these stories exposes the desperate attempts of an entrenched bureaucracy trying to cling to power. They thought they could discriminate against patriots through FEMA. They thought they could plot against Trump in the Pentagon. They thought they could silence us online. Well, they thought wrong. And you, our incredible viewers, have been with us every step of the way. Your super chats tonight, your Rumble rants have been explosive. You called out the deep state, supported fellow patriots, and shown why this community is the strongest in all.
When our paper came out and got some press, my very first PhD student decided that this was so exciting they were going to go start a company.
Within the first 2 years of the company, we had scaled the technology 5, 10 to almost 100 times.
Then the 2008 economic crisis hit.
The excitement of the balloon of green tech in general was also deflating.
My food because of your door. What? Yeah.
Done away with the rule of law. And one of the most irreversible errors that I saw occur in this courtroom, violating due process, was this judge gave a jury instruction that literally left the bottom of the envelope blank. It said, you don't have to find unanimously, beyond a reasonable doubt, what the underlying felony is. You just have to find that you think he committed a crime. That is automatic reversible error, but these people don't care because all they want to do is weaponize justice and take a victory lap.
Pam Bondi, is there a feeling that the Democrats stepped across the line here?
Oh, of course they did. And again, Americans all over this country have been donating. The website crashed, and Americans see what's going on. Trace, you know, you said the bread and butter that Alvin Bragg said that of what he did. That's not true. That's not what that office does. That's not what the function of that office should be. It should be prosecuting violent criminals, the crime on the subway. I believe there was a stabbing just before the verdict came in, yet half of NYPD was there protecting the courthouse, not by choice. And, you know, all of these prosecutors were in there watching the trial. Instead of prosecuting, that should be their bread and butter, violent crime in New York City. Yet it wasn't. It was going after a political opponent, Trace.
Were you surprised by the verdict?
So, anyone who possibly broke the law or possibly coordinated with the Democratic Party and broke the law in doing so, in a special counsel, very likely, well, let's put it this way. Trump and his new Attorney General will have special counsels. It's almost 100%, like I've been telling you. You can compare my track record. I'm not right about everything, but my track record to like liberal channels who said Trump would lose, I've been telling you the Supreme Court will continually side with Trump. I've been telling you he's going to win, take back the Senate, keep the House. I was telling you all of this. You can look at the endless live streams I've done. But if you coordinated with Democrats and broke the law in doing so to convict a political opponent, the special counsel will likely want to speak with you.
No, the facts are the facts, and at the end of the day, the facts are what prevailed here.
The prosecution star witness Michael Cohen taking a victory.
The facts are that the FEC literally dropped the case. The facts are that the misdemeanor that Trump allegedly committed had the statute of limitations run out. The facts are that former FEC commissioners stated that even if he had paid Stormy with dollar bills from his own pocket, it would not have been an FEC crime, because he would have done so with or without the campaign. So he could buy a suit with campaign money or with his money, and it wouldn't be an FEC violation, because you buy a suit with or without running for president. In this case, if you paid Stormy, there are celebrities that do that all the time without running for president.
Laughed last night. Former President Trump, his New York conviction is not the end of his legal battles. As you know, he still faces sentencing and appeals, as well as a looming Supreme Court decision on immunity. And then,
by the way, the conviction will be either dropped or overturned by the Supreme Court. I've been telling you that. I told you, ladies and gentlemen, I haven't been right about everything for 7 years or 8 years that I've been on YouTube. But I will tell you this. I told you that the absurd Colorado ban would be overturned. It was. I told you Trump would get a huge immunity victory. He did. I told you he'd win the presidency and get Congress. He did. I'm telling you now, he's going to make those special counsels. The Attorney General will have a special counsel, probably maybe one or two. And it's going to be a completely new ballgame, ladies and gentlemen. The Durham probe was like, the Durham probe was nothing compared to an attorney. He had Barr, the Attorney General, and the other people within his administration can't be compromised this time around. You think you're going to compromise and intimidate Elon Musk or Tulsi Gabbard or Vivek Ramaswamy or Kash Patel? They're not going to be intimidated by anyone in government.
and there's those 3 other criminal cases. Let's bring in UC Berkeley law professor John Yoo. And I haven't heard your take yet overall on your feelings about the verdict.
It may be that the facts, as the prosecution believed them, were true, but it doesn't matter what the facts were because there's serious legal errors here. Remember how complicated the case is. You've got a misdemeanor about bookkeeping that somehow transformed into a felony because it was used to cover up or enable some kind of other violation that the prosecution didn't really prove and didn't even tell Trump until the jury instructions. I think that alone is grounds for reversal. But I think the worst thing is the damage that this is going to do to our political and constitutional system, because the more frivolous, the weaker the kind of case that you can bring against the president now, the more that this invites further prosecutions of presidents, and presidents are now going to have to worry about their legal liabilities and getting prosecuted by people years later when they're in the middle of making some of the most difficult decisions on behalf of the country.
Wait a second. So let's just say President Obama hasn't been president, President Bush has been president for a long time. A local prosecutor could reach back and charge them with something now?
Oh, yes, and I think it's even worse than that. I think it's almost that now that this precedent has been set, Republican DAs are going to have to go after Democratic presidents in order to try to repair this violation of norms, because otherwise this has succeeded, right? You've got a partisan elected.
The only thing the people who went after Trump respect is the type of behavior they leveled against Trump. Let's be as algorithmically friendly as possible. They don't respect, like, they want Trump to be presidential, but really, they'll respect if Trump treats them the way they treated him. That's the only way to get normal, to get some semblance of what we had before Democrats ruined this. They completely. There was a time when you'd have a Republican and a Democrat, and okay, one lost, one was victorious, and you just moved on. When was the last time a Republican investigated an incoming Democrat because that person was installed by another government? Well, they did that with Trump, and there wasn't a peaceful transfer of power from Obama to Trump. It wasn't peaceful. It was vicious and vile, and they accused him of being an operative of another country. They had zero evidence.
DA
in a city in Manhattan, inalterably opposed to Donald Trump. The guy campaigned on prosecuting Trump, and he's now succeeded in trying to harm President Trump and running for office. If Republicans don't retaliate in the same way, the Democrats are just going to keep doing it to every candidate. There's nothing to
Could
stop.
it help repair things if, I know that's unlikely, but I'm just going to throw it out there, everybody, if Governor Hochul, maybe at the request of President Biden, were to pardon President Trump at this moment? Would it matter?
I think the best thing to happen were actually for the Court of Appeals to immediately intervene and say, right, the law.
Could you imagine Democrats and media would say, my God, all his political allies, he's using the system to go after his opponents. But when it's the other way around, NBC News, Trump's legal allies, set the stage for DOJ investigations of adversaries. But everyone knows this is hypocritical. They're not, NBC News isn't fooling anybody. They know that they'll run the headline that favors the Democratic Party. When Trump goes after them, he's going after his adversaries. When they go after him, it's about the rule of law. And 50 experts have come out saying it's totally valid. And so they understand the double standard. Everyone understands. Everyone is tired of the double standard, but the Democrats don't care. They're so invested. It's their religion now. There's a lot of people who are atheists who have a new religion called politics. Okay? There are people who, the most delusional among us are the people who just got interested in politics in 2016 after Trump won. Because they don't realize what the New York Times and Washington Post was in 2014, in 2012, in 2008. You know, they were still in 2000, I mean, you know what? Media gravitated towards Bush and Cheney and Rumsfeld 20 years ago. So there's a back and forth. But they were still more apolitical. Even though they were pushing for the endless quagmires, there was still some semblance. They didn't treat Democrats in the same manner as journalists treat Republicans now. Anyway, hit subscribe, people. I love you. God bless you. To my super chat, thank you. John Lelaine, hello. If Trump doesn't eliminate threat, he'll take. I agree. Yep. We did it, John. We did it. John Lelaine. Related to the great Jack LaLanne, who is, it's his son. John, thank you so very much. And like I said, Jack LaLanne is it's a hero of mine and so many millions of people throughout the world. John LaLanne, thank you, and I agree with him. I think that they'll go I think that Trump will act in a reciprocal manner. I think he'll act in a reciprocal manner. I'll just say that. John, thank you so very much. John LaLanne, thank you so much. To my super chat, thank you. God bless you all. John and Nico, I didn't see. Nico, I apologize. I didn't see that. There's a bunch. Red, not blue pill, thank you again. Ben A, I didn't see. Ben, thank you, Ben. Greatly appreciate. To my super chat, people I didn't see, I want to apologize. Thank you so very, very, very much. Thanks, everybody. God bless. I will see you tomorrow. I should have a live stream somewhat early.
Mark Levin, and this is Life, Liberty, and Levin Saturday. And this is Liberty. I want to thank you, the American people, the people in this audience, for standing up and saving your country on Tuesday. You saved the Supreme Court, you saved the Electoral College, you saved us from another 20 million illegal aliens and chain migration, another 150 million people coming into this country. You've saved our economy, you've saved our cops, our police force, you've saved our military, you've saved the American Constitution and Declaration of Independence. People seem to forget what was on the line here. Everything was on the line here. We dodged a bullet. President Trump literally dodged a bullet, and we dodged a bullet on Tuesday. The extent of Donald Trump's historic nature, iconic nature, really isn't understood because we're too close to it. They'll understand it 50 or 100 years from now. He's not a typical politician. He speaks like a regular person, which is why they hate him. He tells you his feelings. He's utterly and completely transparent, in many ways to a fault. But that's who he is. And we, the American people, it turns out we love this man. We want him back in the Oval Office. We want him to lead the country. We have rejected completely, utterly, undeniably, the Democrat Party, the Marxist, jihadist agenda. We have rejected it. We want nothing to do with it. We love this country. They do not. We do not want the fundamental transformation of America. We want America back. And you did this. All the talking on the world, all the TV in the world, all the radio in the world could have changed this but for you. And you came out en masse from all corners of the country, every single background, every single race, ethnicity, and religion. Whether President Trump won them outright or won a significant number, it didn't matter. He had a landslide, a modern-day landslide, over 300 Electoral College votes. He won the popular election. You, we beat the media, we beat academia, we beat Hollywood and entertainment, we beat the DC special interest groups, we beat the corporatist oligarchs. The oligarchs put up $1.2 billion to defeat him. They lost. But I want to make something abundantly clear. There is no kumbaya. This isn't hands across America. Have you seen the media? Have you seen the Democrats? They haven't changed. Their stripes haven't changed. They're the same evil empire they've always been. And after a couple more days and a couple more weeks, they will make public what they're doing right now. Do you know what they're doing right now? In the shadows, they are plotting to try and figure out how to destroy the Trump presidency. This White House today, speaking out of both sides of its mouth, they have a whole bunch of executive orders ready to go to try and stymie the Trump agenda, the American people agenda. He's got a real mandate. And his mandate is, we want normalcy back. We want our lives back. We want our freedoms back. We want our religion back, our family back, our sovereignty back. We want America back. We're not interested in what Obama, Hillary Clinton, Biden, Harris, the whole long list of reprobates. We don't want what they want to do to this country top down. And you made the difference. You changed everything. But until Comcast gets control of NBC and MSNBC, until Paramount gets control of CBS, until Disney gets control of ABC, and Warner Brothers gets control of CNN, these pockets of Pravda, Al Jazeera-like media, not a free press, not an American press, these propagandists, these demagogues, until they are held to account for the things that they said.
I dare you to let me build you a completely free e-commerce store preloaded with 20 handpicked products that are trending all over the world, basically validated by AI from a trending product database from one of the top vendors on the planet. And the reason that we can do this completely free for you is because, well, Shopify is paying me to do it. You've probably seen me before, because for the last year, Shopify has loved the AI-paired software that we built so much that they've been paying me to build people just like you, complete beginners, a completely free store. Now, again, it's free for you, right? Shopify is paying me a commission to do it. And if you don't keep your store for more than 90 days, I don't even get paid. But your store is still free, right? And after 90 days, it's still your store. I don't own a percentage of the store. I don't control the store. It's yours. You can delete products from it, add new products to it, all the good stuff. It's your store, okay? Not only that, I'm going to give you my courses completely free. I'm not going to try to upsell you a bunch of courses. I know you've seen gurus trying to sell courses for $1,000, $2,000, so on and so forth. I can afford to give you my courses for free because, again, Shopify pays me when you use this software and open up a Shopify store. So you get a free store.
Hitler, fascism, all the things they said about you, the American people, until these corporations get control over these news platforms and really turn them into professional operations with real professional journalists, nothing's going to change. So I just want you to be aware of this. And we, the American people, in this incoming new administration, this pro-American administration, will need to use every constitutional, legal, political, and every other ability that we have and they have to push their agenda and defend it against what is definitely coming. Because these people don't roll over. They don't go in a fetal position. They get angrier. They want more power. They grab more money. And they never say no. I just want you to be aware of this. I want to tell you the truth. Now, I want to get into a few other things here. This lawfare stuff, I'm not going to let it pass. I have in front of me one paragraph that was filed by the unconstitutional rogue prosecutor, 𝗁𝗂 on behalf of the Department of Injustice and the entire regime that's still in place. United States versus Donald Trump, government's unopposed motion to vacate briefing schedule. He didn't move to vacate the cases, the briefing schedule. So all the reporting is wrong. As a result of the election held on November 5, the defendant is expected to be certified as president-elect on January 6, 2025, and inaugurated on January 20, 2025. They are shocked. You got to give them that. The government respectfully requests that the court, now this court is this judge, Tanya Chutkan, who is horrific, an Obama appointee, a left-wing bomb thrower on a black robe. They say they're asking the court to vacate the remaining deadlines. That's the schedule. In the pretrial schedule to afford the government time to assess this unprecedented circumstance and determine the appropriate course going forward consistent with Department of Justice policy by December 2nd, so the sword of Damocles remains over President-elect Trump's head. December 2nd, they give themselves. The government will file a status report or otherwise inform the court of the result of its deliberations. The government has consulted with defense counsel, who do not object to this request. They haven't made any decision yet, because they're corrupt as hell. This memo that I brought to you years ago, October 16, 2000, which incorporates a memo by the Department of Justice as well in 1973, so for half a century, it has been the position of the United States government, the Department of Justice, that you cannot indict a sitting president. I'll get to the point. The indictment or criminal prosecution of a sitting president would unconstitutionally undermine the capacity of the executive branch to perform its constitutionally assigned functions. And it goes on. Because of the unique duties and demands of the presidency, the department concluded a president cannot be called upon to answer the demands of another branch of the government in the same manner as can other individuals. The ordinary workings of the criminal process would impose burdens upon a sitting president that would directly and substantially impede the executive branch from performing its constitutionally assigned functions. And the accusation or adjudication of the criminal culpability of the nation's chief executive by either a grand jury returning an indictment or a petit jury returning a verdict would have a dramatically destabilizing effect on the ability of a coordinated branch of government to function. And it goes on in exquisite detail. 3 types of burdens merit consideration. A, the actual imposition of a criminal sentence of incarceration. So it's not just indictment, it's the entire trial process, which would make it physically impossible for the prisoner to carry out his duties. B, the public stigma, an opprobrium occasioned by the initiation.
20 years ago, they set out to create a fuel cell that could convert the chemical energy of hydrogen into electricity.
Me and another grad student were able to start up a new fuel cell technology company. We had 𝗁𝗂 as our scientific advisor.
Of criminal proceedings, which could compromise the president's ability to fulfill his constitutionally contemplated leadership role with respect to foreign and domestic affairs. And C, the mental and physical burdens of assisting in the preparation of a defense for the various stages of the criminal proceedings, which might severely hamper the president's performance of his official duties. He's going to be distracted. He's fighting for his liberty while he's president of the United States. And I have tagged page after page over the years this document. Half a century, you cannot indict a sitting president. But Mark, Donald Trump is not a sitting president. And when they indicted him, he wasn't a sitting president. Ah, they rushed. They interfered with the election. They sought to prevent him from becoming a president again, which violates every notion of ethics when it comes to practicing law, but it actually violates, as I explained before, the rules of the Justice Department. For instance, federal prosecutors and agents
I wait, the whole dish is done except for the pan, that one pan.
Criminal charges or statements.
And that's why I mixed it in there so I can get everything else washed.
Or for the purpose of giving an advantage or disadvantage.
Trying to keep up some of the dishes.
Such a purpose is inconsistent with the department's mission and with the principles of federal prosecution, and it goes on. That's their position, official
Get some of the
position.
dishes.
That's the rule.
That kind of helps.
You better believe they did it. More in a
Keep
second.
the house a little bit
And
straighter.
I point it out to you. Office of Attorney General. Every single Attorney General since 𝘁𝗵𝘁 under George W. Bush, right up to Garland, believe it or not, Biden, have put out this memorandum that has said election year sensitivities. And they basically say, look, you're not to bring cases that you think or can possibly affect an election, let alone a presidential election. And that's the official position of the department. So they've had basically a 60-day rule, but it's even broader than that. And here they are, all the memoranda, right here. That's what it says. So what happened here with Donald Trump? And I don't care if they're filing documents with the federal court right now or not. The Trump new Justice Department needs to get to the bottom of this. We can never allow a rogue Department of Justice at the direction of a president or vice president or anybody else in a regime to unleash the full power of the Department of Justice, the Criminal Division, the Public Integrity Division, a so-called special counsel, to interfere with a presidential election for the purpose of defeating a specific candidate, to go to court after court in this country to try and get the processes of due process, cutting corners to get it done as quickly as possible before the election, to try and defeat the person and put them in prison. We cannot allow that to ever happen again. I'm not talking about recriminations. I'm talking about setting this straight. We need to find out exactly who did what, when exactly they did, look at the documentary evidence of what they did, make it available to the American people, and say, we will never, ever allow this to happen again to any candidate of any party. Now, let's continue with this. The federal case is dead. It's over. They shouldn't have to wait till December 2nd. They shouldn't have to wait another second, period. It's over. Even if it has to go all the way to the Supreme Court. Now you say, but Mark, again, he wasn't president of the United States. I know exactly what Donald Trump was. He was a candidate for president, and they tried to cripple him in advance of the election. And you know what? You said, no, we're not buying what this guy Smith did or this Judge Chunkin did. We're not buying what Garland did and the other reprobates at the Department of Justice. This is the United States of America. You don't treat anybody this way, let alone a candidate for president. And the American people put a stop to this. Not a judge, not the justice system, quote unquote, Not any whistleblower at the Department of Justice and say, we don't do this sort of thing. You, the people, we the people, put an end to it. Now they still have their little entrails going on here, but that's the truth. Now, Mark, what about this case in Manhattan, this New York case? Well, this case in Georgia. What do we do about that? We have what's called a Constitution of the United States. Now, I know you folks on the left hate it. I know you like to go around and decide which parts you'll comply with. You don't even like most of the Bill of Rights, 1st, 2nd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 5th, 14th Amendments. If you had your way, you'd rewrite it, which is why you were defeated. We don't want your way. We don't like tyranny. The Supremacy Clause. What is the Supremacy Clause? Let me read it to you. And Acting State Judge Marchand, let me read it to you, because you need to be educated. You are a constitutional illiterate. This Constitution, this is the quote, and the laws of the United States which shall be made in pursuance thereof, and all treaties made or which shall be made under the authority of the United States. Ready, Judge Marchand? Pay attention. Shall be the supreme law of the land, federal law, and the Constitution. And the judges in every state, including you, Marchand, shall be bound thereby, and anything in the Constitution or laws of any state to the contrary notwithstanding. That's the Supremacy Clause of the Constitution. Very, very important. So much so it shows up in the Federalist Papers. Look at this. Federalist number 33, written by Alexander Hamilton. Oh, you lefties like him. Remember the play Hamilton? Oh, yeah. He's your guy. A law, by the very meaning of the term, includes supremacy. It is a rule which those to whom it is prescribed are bound to observe. This results from every political association. If individuals enter into a state of society, the laws of that society must be the supreme regulator of their conduct. If a number of political societies, states, localities, enter into a larger political society, the laws which the latter may enact, the state and localities, pursuant to the powers in law. You see all this? And now Marchand's going to sit there at a sentencing hearing with a president-elect. They rushed that case ahead. They wanted to get it done. Convicted felon, 34 counts. Let's defeat him. Let's put him in jail. It's backfired. Because you, the people, said, enough of this. That's not the way our country works. That's not the way our justice system works, and we don't want it to work against us this way. You put an end to it. So what does it mean? Marchand has no jurisdiction. He has no authority. The Supremacy Clause. He has no authority because the whole case is based on the unstated federal election laws. It's a dead case. He's got no authority because of that memo in 2000 written by the Department of Justice. The same reason the feds can't conduct themselves that way is the same reason that a state can't conduct itself that way. In other words, understand what I'm saying. The office of the presidency, federal law, the election law, the federal constitution, the functioning of the executive branch cannot be in any way hampered, interfered with, degraded by a state judge or a state prosecutor because of the Supremacy Clause, because of a lack of jurisdiction, because it involves federal law, and 1,000 other reasons. That case is dead. But Marchand is just too stupid to know it, so he's going to have to be educated about it, isn't he? One other thing. What about those 34 felony convictions under this Stalinist court and this phony judge with a phony prosecutor? Can something be done about that? Yes, it can. And this is where the professors, the former federal prosecutors, most of them don't have the foggiest idea what they're talking about. Article 2, Section 2, Clause 1 of your Constitution. It talks about the power of a president. The president shall have power to grant reprieves and pardons for offenses against the United States, except in cases of impeachment. So, a lot of our friends, they say, well, this is a state case. It's not a federal case. There's no jurisdiction. It says pardons for offenses against the United States government. What did I just say about the case in Manhattan, New York? The underlying crime was a federal offense, the federal election law. So there you have a nexus right there. What else did I say? This involves the office of the presidency, that a state and locality can't interfere with it. There's another nexus. What else did I say? We're talking about a future president of the United States. The state says we're going to lock him up. No, I don't think so. So you would destroy the entire federal constitutional construct because some jerk state acting judge and some jerk prosecutor decides we're going to take him on. And imagine what would happen. We have 15,000 DAs and 10 times that amount, or 100 times that amount of assistant DAs. That's not how it works. So in the end, let's say at the end of his presidency, if Donald Trump wanted to, he could pardon himself of the 34 counts. Why? Because the power is plenary. It's a very expansive power. Pardons for offenses against the United States. Pardons. And keep something else in mind. There's nothing in the Constitution that prevents him from doing it. Nothing. I just thought I'd point that out. And you, the American people, you brought an end to it. They call it lawfare. You know, that sounds too nice. These Stalinist witch trials. You said no. Whether it's New York, whether it's Georgia, whether it's Washington or anywhere else. We, the people, we want nothing to do with that. God bless each and every one of you. I'll be right back. We're here with our friend, the country's friend, my friend, Donald Trump Jr., Trump Organization Executive Vice President. Donald Trump Jr., Don, let me ask you something. What is the atmosphere with the family, with the people putting together the administration? What do you want to say to the American people who saw what was taking place and put their foot down? I want to give you an opportunity just to express yourself.
Well, Mark, thank you so much. No, I really want to thank all of them for standing with us, for understanding the years of persecution, of lawfare, of frankly quite a bit worse, just for understanding what was really going on, for seeing through the nonsense. We fully understand these days how hard it is just to get by, just to survive. And my father, we plan on making Americans thrive again, not simply survive. You know, it's great to see them, again, be able to get through all of the noise. And there was a lot of noise, as you know. I mean, I listened to, you know, your opening monologue, and you hit all these points of just how bad it was, and then it got surprisingly worse. So I just want to thank them for all of it. You know, my father will always fight for the American people. I will always fight for the American people. But without them understanding, without them taking, you know, that chance and being able to see through, you know, that years of just a barrage like no one's ever seen before of lies, of misinformation, of suppression and censorship. I just want to thank them for making that call, and I can assure you we are not going to let them down.
And isn't it really exciting? The American people literally rose up and said, we want Donald Trump as our president. We want J.D. Vance as our vice president. We embrace this agenda. We embrace this man. There's not a damn thing the ruling class can say or do. Massive landslide, electoral college, all these states that were said to be in play, none of them were in play. Massive popular vote. Everywhere you look, he improved upon what Republicans have done in the past, including the Bronx, New York, and so forth. Your father is a historic and iconic figure who is very endearing to the American people. And my question is, as you put together your administration and so forth, you put together your government, you're still, I think, wise to the fact that there are elements out there that want him to fail, that would like nothing more than to impeach, nothing more than more criminal investigation. In other words, I'm saying most of these people haven't gone away.
Yeah, no, I think that's very fair. We definitely recognize that. The swamp itself, you know, the Uni Party in D.C., you could see there was a reason they put up such more resistance, even on some of the Republican side. They understand that Trump, with 4 years of actual understanding, having been president, having come in as a total outsider, you know, you trusted people that, you know, you believe them because they have an R next to their name, but you realize that's actually meaningless. So I think we have an opportunity now to put together a coalition of people that are truly America first, that don't believe they know more than the duly elected president of the United States, people who aren't sort of the self-appointed gatekeepers and arbiters of who knows best. We understand who those people are, and, you know, part of my job for the next 90 days is going to make sure that those people don't get those positions of power where they can stymie the agenda that America overwhelmingly voted for. My father's always been very clear. He does not mince words. The American public knows what he wants to do, and they know he's capable of it, and that's what makes D.C. so scared. So we're just going to make sure that we don't have those roadblocks in there. And, you know, that's always hard to, you know, figure out in D.C. It functions very different than business. People claim to be on your side for years. They'll snake you for a good article or some, a commission deal for some other guy that they're representing that's a special interest. I think we have as good an understanding as we could possibly have of that, and that we didn't have in 16. So, knowing what we know now, I think it allows this agenda to be so much more effective, this mandate that we were given. You've taken the notion of, you didn't win the popular vote, you've taken that off the table. People have to understand that this is the direction that America wants. When you look at the gains with, half the 18 to 29 vote, you never thought that would be possible. Huge gains, doubling, of the African American vote, more than that in some of the Hispanic vote. I mean, it's truly a mandate for all Americans, and I think that's so important and fundamental to what we're trying to do.
And you raise a very important point when we come back, Don, which is personnel is policy. You get over 3,000 positions that you can appoint from top to bottom, even though there's 2.5 million bureaucrats. So it's crucially important. Personnel is policy. So what are you doing? What are others doing to make sure that the people who serve really, and I'll put it bluntly, aren't saboteurs, aren't out for themselves, or are there to push the agenda that the American people voted for in supporting your dad? We'll be right back. Look, America, we're here with Donald Trump Jr. So this personnel issue is very, very critical, and you're involved in it. You said the next 90 days. So what are you kind of doing to make sure that people who opposed your father, Republicans who opposed your father, trying to come under, the radar, how are you going to make sure that he really gets the people he needs?
Well, Mark, a big part of that is the reality of it is anyone who is willing to oppose Trump got plenty of TV time, so we'll be able to figure out who those people are exactly. I think we had that's the reality. They say, oh, I love you. They show a tweet from 7 minutes ago saying, look how much I love you. I was like, yeah, let's go roll the tape. So that's the nice thing about all the political capital that was given to anyone who was willing to, bastardize, probably in many cases, even their true beliefs for a little bit of airtime. But I think it started off really well on Thursday when my father decided to choose Susie Wiles to be his White House Chief of Staff. I think Susie's been incredible. She's a no-drama individual. She understands my father. She lets him be him. She's not going to be one of these gatekeepers to make sure that only the people that want one specific thing will go in there and talk to my father and tell him just what he needs to know to get to where they want him to be, as opposed to everything he needs to know to get to where he should be or where he'd be inclined to be. And so I think that role to me was number one to fill. We needed to do with someone that understands him, and I think Susie's going to be an absolute rock star in that position. And my father, throughout his whole career has done that. I mean, he was a better builder than most because he was able to and chose to listen to guys on the ground, the actual construction workers, not just guys in an office. So he wants to hear everyone's opinion. He'll always make up his own mind, be sure of that. But he wants to hear from everyone, and I think Susie's the perfect person to allow my father to be himself so that we get to these decisions the way he would want them to be. Not the things that are guided by, the corruption within the swamp.
You make a great point about your father. He's the president. So when you have these generals who are trying to push their way, or these squirrely little activists who are trying to push their way, or no, I don't think you should do that, give him your opinion. He wants to hear it, then get back and then execute, correct?
100%, and that's what you didn't have in 16. Like I said, now you have much more of a mandate. We understand who the bad guys are. They'd nod and say, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, and then they go back and put it in the circular Rolodex. He'd bring him in 3 weeks later, what's happening? Oh, it's taking a while. They weren't. They were just slow rolling him. So, again, now we understand who those people are. We understand, the loyalists. We understand who's also competent, and we're going to choose the people who are both loyal and competent to the mission that he wants to fill for America. And that's a hugely important role. That's going to take up a lot of, my 90 days. I'm going to make sure to do whatever I can to present my father a list of people for each of those roles that he'll ultimately choose on his own. But, I've immersed myself pretty heavily into this for the last, almost decade now. So we have such a clear understanding of it. We will know, and we're going to make those right decisions. It's going to be incredible.
I think you're right. All the learning that took place in the first term, second term. It's amazing to me as somebody studies history. Your father, the 45th and the 47th President of the United States. They thought they had him taken down, indictments, impeachments, trying to take his business away from him, coming after you and the other family members. They thought they were on the brink of sending him to Sing Sing. And look at him. I'm telling people right now, you look at great presidents in American history, Don, You look at Andrew Jackson. You look at Abraham Lincoln. They all were attacked. And when they were done, 50 years later, they were considered among the greatest presidents in American history. And none of them were attacked like your father. Any final words?
Well, no, again, I just want to thank the American people for that. It's, it is an incredible mandate. We look forward to executing it. No one's going to work harder than my father. I saw that. I mean, even on the campaign trail in the last couple of days, I watched a guy that is 78 years old, do 2 all-nighters in a row and still have an energy level that would put most 25-year-olds to bed. It's absolutely spectacular. So no one is going to work harder for the American people. No one's going to work harder to put America first. And by the way, you already see it across the world, Mark. I mean, 12 hours after he wins, Hamas says, you know what, guys, it's time to talk about peace. Xi Jinping in China says, we really have to normalize American relations. Everyone understands that, daddy is home, and they got to start behaving accordingly. It's really incredible to watch the world fall in line. I saw Steve Madden Shoes says they're pulling 40% out of their production out of Chinese plants to bring them back to America so we can build back our manufacturing base. The stock market went up $1.28 trillion the day after my father was elected. He's not even in office and he's making America great again. Just imagine what he can do when he's back in the Oval.
It's a very exciting time. I do view it as a rebirth. And the American people stepped up and they voted for the man they needed to vote for and the policies they needed to vote for. The opposite would have been just so dire. You know what, Don? I'm going to tell you something. You guys are very lucky to have him as your father, and he's very lucky to have you as his son and the other family members too. You're a very, very wonderful family. I've gotten to know all of you.
Whatever. I think it's a shame of it. Hey, Mel, can you give me some ice?
It's Friday, so you know what that means. Let's welcome tonight's guest. He thrills the nation with his impersonations. Comedian Tyler Pitzer. She fights for the Jews in her Jimmy Choos. This is one human rights lawyer, Brooke Goldstein. She's got a baby on board and it can't be ignored. New York Times bestselling author, Fox's contributor. Just like Trump, he's responsible for landslides. New York Times! I'm out of breath. Before we get to some news stories, let's do this. Greg's Leftovers. It's Leftovers, where I read the jokes we didn't use this week, and as always, it's my first time reading them, so that Chuck will tape Joe Maggie's eyes open and force him to watch Jimmy Kimmel. Lefty meltdowns continue, with dozens of Kamala supporters pledging to never have sex with conservatives. Trump supporters are calling it a win-win. In response to these liberal women denying men sex, one man felt a great sense of relief. In a historic first, Trump's next chief of staff will be
Enough.
a woman.
No, they're bad.
Don't worry, she has a driver. Susie Wiles becomes the first female chief of staff in U.S. history. And unlike a lot of Biden's female appointees, she has no penis.
Sunshine didn't stay, did it?
Real woman.
Like, what are you talking about, Mama?
So Googling how to move to Canada has become a popular search with liberals, along with how do I find someone to bang my wife? Because they're all cucks. Democrat strategist 𝗁𝗂𝗂𝗂 was stunned by Trump's re-election, saying, quote, "I'm in a very, very dark tunnel right now." You know, as opposed to his usual tunnel where he stores his food pellets and larvae. ESPN's Stephen A. Smith told The View he could see Donald Trump's victory from a mile away. It's the same thing he said about 𝗄𝗵𝗁𝗁. Big lady. As a result of Trump's victory, the Dow Jones surged 1,500 points this week. Nancy Pelosi made so much money, she put a down payment on a new face. Pop star Madonna ate a cake that said F Trump. Meanwhile, Chris Christie ate a cake that said cake. Richard Gere, the actor, has sold his Connecticut home for $11 million after revealing that he's leaving the United States. Good. And don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. It'll wake the gerbils. It's gonna be on his tombstone. What's he gonna do? Rachel Maddow is being mocked for warning the U.S. that it was headed for an autocratic government. She's also being mocked for her startling resemblance to Hawaii detective Steve McGarrett. Their safe word is book 'em, Dano. Earlier this week, President Biden called Donald Trump to congratulate him on his victory. He also apologized for the stains in the Lincoln bedroom, the Situation Room, the Oval Office, and most of the West Wing. Later this month, McDonald's will bring back the McRib at select locations. It's not exactly a Harris victory, but it's close, said one woman. According to a new study, the secret to better sex is a full night's sleep. So that's why Mike Huckabee is smiling. Yeah.
Not relief all.
And finally, according to a new study, having fewer friends could actually be better for your health. In a related story, guess whose life expectancy just doubled? So just 10 days ago, Trump's campaign was supposed to crash and burn. And why? The media told us that a joke by an insult comic would destroy any chance of Trump getting Latino voters. They claimed that the comic was a speaker, and that of the 8 or so hours at the Madison Square Garden, he was the only one there. Then they waited breathlessly for millions of Latinos to buy their What happened? Well, on Tuesday, President Trump got 46% of Latino voters, the biggest share by a Republican contender in modern times. Hell, even Ricardo Montalban voted for Trump. And he died in 2009. It was, in its purest form, the death of fake news, the collapse of brainwash. For some reason, what usually worked before fell on deaf ears. which makes us wonder, how did this propaganda not work on millions of Americans, even as the media industrial complex orchestrated its typical fury? It was as if the population was vaccinated against a virus that the elites had no immunity for. Call it a hoax dewormer, a drug against brainwash. And it worked. Because this time around, the world post-election seems pretty serene. New York City, surprisingly, isn't on fire. The only noise you hear is in the media. Everyone else is getting on with their lives. Geraldo is already back tying up women on railroad tracks. He looks young there. Seriously, you have to look for the drama online at MSNBC or The View. But how long will this calm last? After minimal self-reflection, even the New York Times is back at it.
But Trump will fulfill his promise to be a dictator on day one.
He sends troops into neighborhoods like my own to try to round up undocumented immigrants, that he sets up a network of camps.
Mass deportations that would likely plunge the United States into something like a recession. His tariffs, likewise, promise to spike prices for most Americans and cause costs that go up dramatically.
That version of Trump could result in abandoning Ukraine to advancing Russian armies, could result in extraordinarily erratic foreign policy in the Middle East.
Talk about revenge porn. I sure hope Joy Reid doesn't go through with that sex tape. So if we know they're never going to stop, how do we respond? Well, by teaching the rest of the public the skills you developed for seeing through the BS. It's like X-ray vision for excrement. So stop looking at this as Republican versus Democrat or left versus right. It's us versus the brainwashers. And we need to expand our team. It's up to us to convince Kamala voters that they were gaslit too, and make the truth more prominent than Jesse's bald spots. Because again, why are Republicans and even some Dems not acting crazy when the Kimmels and the Hostins and the Maddows are? And how can you explain that the media loved Biden to the end until they didn't, that they tossed him aside for Kamala, who they hated to the end until they didn't? It was a brainwash machine. And yet, even when media coverage was 78% positive for Kamala, we were immune. It's like we've discovered a superpower, a force field against hoaxes and media lies. So how did this happen? Well, for many years, people assumed the media had their best interests in mind, the truth. But as the media grew, so did their bullseye. And you experience what's called the 𝗁𝗂 amnesia effect, when you suddenly can gauge the truthfulness of an article because it's about you or your life. A plumber might assume everything on the front page is true until he reads a piece on plumbing. And he realizes, wow, this person doesn't know literally. I mean, this idiot just described a basin ranch as an offset hex ranch. What an asshole! See, the point is, if the topic involves you, then you see the lies, which is what happened on a mass scale to millions of Trump supporters when they were labeled racist, violent extremists. Suddenly the 𝗁𝗂 effect went national. I mean, if they think I'm racist, what else are they lying about? So imagine if everyone got this, then none of the brainwashing could work anymore. The ladies of The View might actually have to find honest work. And CNN could be turned into something useful, like a pickleball court. So the goal in the next 4 years is to unite all sides with one shared enemy, the media. So forget attacking Democrats. Hell, they've suffered enough under their own policies. Tyler, obviously all those little scared of what Trump's gonna do. What do you think Trump's gonna do using Trump's own voice?
Well, I have to thank him for buying me 4 more years of this show.
Yeah.
I was going to retire. But, you know, what a great week we've had. And we're doing no
tax on tips, we know that. We're doing no tax on overtime. And we're doing, nobody's talking about this. This is what the American people want. We're doing no tax on McDonald's. We love McDonald's. No tax on nuggets. They said, sir, you can't do that. We have the Senate. We have the House. So we have a great cabinet. We have RFK, Secretary of Health, as the new head chef of McDonald's. No, listen. Chicken nuggets, excuse me, chicken nuggets will actually be healthy. You'll lose weight from the fries. We have fresh Atlantic cod for the fish fillet. And we're gonna clean house with the new Secretary of Taking Out the Trash, Elon Musk. I fired everyone. We're firing everyone. It's gonna be so great. It's gonna be so great.
Yeah. Thank you for that. A little medley of voices.
It's schizophrenia.
All right, Brooke. Tell us what you think. Are we in an era where we suddenly realize everything we get from the media is a lie?
Well, me and you knew that, right?
Yes.
We've known that for many years, and I'm so happy that everybody else has woken up. The media bias, it's Orwellian. It is so real. It is so obvious. And sometimes, it's just so overt. I was lucky enough to be able to attend some of the rallies and invited by Trump's people to hear him speak in private context. And it's remarkable how they misquote him and how they take his words out of context. And then, it's less overt, it's more covert with all the editorializing. The CNN headline the day after Trump wins, it's Trump retakes power with a disruptive influence. What could be less disruptive than a peaceful transfer of power? It's a democratic influence. And so, it's just the whole heeing and hawing about how this is going to be a dictatorship, how our rights are going to be taken away. It is, on its face, ridiculous. This is democracy working. The people have spoken, not just the electoral vote, but he won, the majority of the American public. So they are so out of touch. They're so elitist. I hate when the celebrities go out there and wax and opine about it. Why do we even listen to what they're saying at this point?
Yeah, it is so true. Kat, what do you think of my theory that, you were in the media spotlight when you can assume everything that's being written is probably accurate until you read an article that you were interviewed for.
Yeah.
And then you read it and you go, I didn't say that, and that was a joke. I was joking when I said that. And it tells you that maybe all the other stories that you were reading about, I don't know, climate change or the automotive industry is equally flawed.
Well, you have to just start questioning things that you read and also look at motivations of things. There's certain people whose entire job, in our situation, is to watch Fox News and then write about how bad everything they saw was.
Yes.
So that's their motivation. That's their job. So you have to read that with that lens. But that's not like that's the only form of media out there that does stuff like this. These people on these channels, when this worked for a while, right? When this worked for a while, when they had their highest viewership, talking about Trump and all these bad things are going to happen and the walls are closing in.
Yes.
The walls haven't, obviously, is reelected. So, but that's kind of worked for them for a while, so that's why they're doing it. Division and this kind of fear-mongering, it makes money. It's far more interesting to say that on TV than it is to say, Trump won, but it's probably going to be fine. People tune in for, so I'd say look at motivations of things.
Yeah, the walls are closing in, but it's the wall on our border. See what I did there?
If you wanted me to clap for you, you could have just asked.
Yes. What about that, Tyrus? The fact that, okay, we always have to begin every time I ask. You called this early on. You said the polls were BS, but do you believe that it was artificially made close because of what Kat was saying to keep the money flowing?
No, I think the problem is that we have an elite group of narcissistic morons. So, no, I wish that was a joke, but it's not. They don't. To go on TV every day to objectively talk about something, you have to study, you have to research the pros and cons. And both candidates, you should find things you like, things that concern you. It's called doing work. That's why all the old journalists look so old. They smoke cigarettes and stayed up all night checking sources and this, that, whatever. When you get The View, who are like, I don't have to think anything. I don't like them, and I'm rich, so you shouldn't like them either. And I can say anything because no one's going to check me. I surround myself with people. They'll have one puppet Republican who was scared to death to say anything against them, or if she does come out, they'll interrupt her nonstop. So there's this level of stupidity, and it spreads because they don't have to, all they have to say is, Trump is Hitler. And their followers will be like, well, maybe he is Hitler. But then if anyone actually paid attention in history class, they'd be like, he's not anything close to Hitler.
Yeah.
There is no other Hitler. Hence why we know who Hitler is.
Yeah.
Because there's just an ignorance and it's an arrogance to where I can just say whatever I want to. Then they get caught. And they can't say, I have been wasting network money lying to you. So they have to double down and go even stupider.
Yeah.
And keep saying things like, I only watch because of the clips. You force us to watch The View.
I do.
He does. He does. He's like, yeah, you predicted it. Good job. Guess who's watching The View for a month? So, Cat's baby's going to come out and be like anti-Sunny. You see? But as you watch them, you see them just age and cringe because they get caught up in their lives. So what do? The new word is misogynistic. And guess what? Their only mistake was they blamed white men. They forgot that black men, Hispanic men, and Asian men too. So that's the new thing. And then they're like, oh, it's just men. And then they're like, well, 53% of women. Oh, it's stupid women and men. So they'll just keep going until they're down to the only thing you can trust is a penguin. The penguins, they get it because they're running out of people to blame.
Yes.
So this is fun because they just keep it going, keep it going. Next thing we hear is apparently the extraterrestrials also voted for Trump. So it's a long line of just stupidity because you don't have to practice or educate yourself to be stupid.
Yes, that is true. All right, up next, getting past the buck after running out of luck. Are coming out. Brooke, following Kamala's humiliating loss, the Dems are trying to find someone to blame. They're desperate. Within their own party, they're pointing fingers. They're blaming Joe Biden for not getting out sooner. for unilaterally anointing Kamala, then for pushing Joe out in the first place, then George Clooney writing the op-ed urging Joe to drop out, and then him doing it too late. Kamala's advisors are saying the polling data shows she was winning. Obama advisors are giving Kamala bad strategies. Blah, 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 blah.
Blah, blah.
Blah. Blah.
Look, is there a question?
No.
No, okay. So I read a great book called From Good to Great. And, you know, one of the principles in the book, and as the founder and executive director of my own organization, to have a successful company, and I would hope this would translate into running a successful campaign or running a country, you have to be able to have a little bit of self-reflection. Right? You have to be able to analyze what's working, what didn't work, and then make the changes that have to take place in order to succeed next time around. And that's just simply not what's happening here. They lied about Biden's condition. And then they orchestrated a coup. They put Kamala in. She was never elected. She bypassed the primaries. They installed this leader who everyone saw as a puppet of Obama. And what is so remarkable is that they spent $1 billion in 3 months. And this first 6 weeks of that campaign, she was hiding in her basement. Okay, so how are you supposed to trust a party that spends $1 billion in 3 months, loses, and then goes to say that they can run the economy? I think the American people are smart. This was all about emotion. All of the reporting was absent any type, you know, of facts. And the people have spoken. What can I do?
You know, people say, Kat, that it's like they spent $1 billion as if that's crazy, but that money did go somewhere. People got rich. It didn't really even matter that Kamala lost. There was $1 billion that got split up by you know, political operatives and whatnot. What do you think? Do you think they'll learn from their mistakes?
Probably not, because they're trashing each other.
Yeah.
And you gotta take a look at what maybe you did wrong. I mean, it was so obviously transparent, and they were already kind of, you know, I want to say playing from behind, but then you're gonna say something weird about that. So I'm trying to think of another way. I'm trying to think of another way to say play it from behind, but that's what I mean. Thank you guys.
It's not gonna stop it.
Yeah, when they spent years telling us that Biden was okay.
Yeah.
They spent years being like, there's something wrong with you, you're a conspiracy theorist to think that Biden's okay. And then, so I feel like a lot of people with eyes who saw these videos of him were like, doesn't really look great, right? So then they came out, and she was really a
If there's any
leftover
leftover spaghetti, Mel,
for the longest time.
put it in the fridge.
Kamala's here, right? So I think that people, I mean, they really need to admit the things that they've done wrong. Admit that some of that stuff I just said was messed up.
Yeah.
And examine that. It's not that the examination start now. It needs to go back a few years.
Come from behind. Joe, I'm not going to make some kind of sick, disgusting joke about
That's where I was struggling. I'm like, I know exactly what I want to say, but I can't use that.
He is so going to do it.
I'm waiting.
You know he's going to do it.
I'm going to pick my moment. So, Tyrus, I want to do a little experiment with you. And
No.
No. Get behind him. Yeah. Okay. Remember how on the end of every Scooby-Doo episode, the monster gets the mask taken off? Okay, imagine this is a Scooby-Doo episode. It was this, and then they pull the mask off. Who is the monster?
Dr. Fauci. I know, listen, I played a lot of sports in my life, and when you get your ass kicked, you want to blame the kicker, or you want to blame the coach, or you want to blame your girl calling you 2 minutes before you go on the air to complain about some you don't care about. That's not what it is. This train of horribleness started when they started telling us what we had to do with our bodies, and that if you didn't get the shot, you were basically a terrorist. And people lost jobs, and they didn't care. And then all of a sudden they sent all this money out and people were stealing it and it never went to the people who were supposed to get it. You don't kind of forget that. You know, when you had to literally step in here. Now I know a lot of men came home and got sprayed with aerosol cans.
Yes.
To put their clothes in a trash bag.
Yes.
And are butt naked and walk in and be like, did you get bread? And then you gotta go back. And then you gotta go back out. You don't forget that stuff. And then when we finally get through that, then we continue to be lied to and be told. And then lo and behold, we found out that men are horrible. And then we're told that it's okay for women with a set to punch another woman in the face. And if we question it, there's something wrong with us. So they continue to pepper. Everybody got a little bit of their and eventually everybody got together. And that's why they lost. It's not because the Puerto Ricans were like, oh, we can't take a joke.
Yeah.
That wasn't it. No one's that brittle. They are.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like we're brittle ass people.
Tyler, what is your analysis on this?
First of all, sounds like Tyrus needs a couple more booster shots, okay?
Well, you need a booster chair. So. There you go.
Well, if you need that shot, I'm always, where are you? They come from behind.
He's a big guy. He's going to need about 50 pounds to do each leg. That's what we're going to have to do. What was your question?
I didn't really have one.
Before the height shaming?
Would they ever realize, do they have enough self-awareness to look in the mirror and go, you know what? We are responsible for this.
I can't even see in the mirror, you know? I'm looking at my forehead. You know what I'm talking about. We share a kid's bathroom, you know? No, they won't. And, you know, a lot of them are deleting their Instagram pages, which, by the way, is a privilege. Because if you're a free speech person, as a comedian, I've been banned from every single social media platform. What a privilege to just delete it on your own.
Yeah.
You know? Look at you. Look at you. Yeah, no, and watching Biden joyfully end with it, that was the best speech he's ever given. I go, I would vote for him. Yeah, he gave that little smirk. He's like, we'll be right back. He's having a good day.
He is. That's probably the best day of his entire political
He slept
career.
well. He slept like a baby. I mean, he was always had to wear diapers, but that night, he wore two.
All right. Up next, college kids cried over Trump's landslide.
Polar, come here. Come on. She's underneath my chair, Marlene. She's ignoring you. Go see Mama. Polar, come here. Come here. Polar. She's underneath my chair. Did you put the spaghetti in the fridge? Okay. Someone can heat that up tomorrow and finish it off. Marlene can probably do it before she goes to work or something.
Kids cry like babies. Pat, universities are helping sad students cope with Trump's win. Harvard's canceling classes. Dartmouth is offering listening circles for depressed students to discuss their feelings. Georgetown gave students milk and cookies and Legos to play with the distress on election day. What about us?
Who's us?
The people that have to put up with their tantrums. Aren't we?
I don't have to put up with their tantrums.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I feel like haven't college students been crying for a while?
Yeah. They didn't do this for October 7th for Jews.
I feel like they've been crying since like 2014.
Yeah.
So I feel like the milk and cookies have been a thing, the puppies have been a thing, the coloring books have been a thing. And usually you do have to go to work after something happens that's like can be far more devastating in your life. But yeah, it's also college. Like, why do people even go anymore at this point? It's so expensive. It's so expensive, and you're not even like practicing being a human.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
It's an anti-educational.
Yeah, it's so expensive so that you can get told that it's okay that you don't have to go to work if something doesn't go your way. Yeah, you kind of do, actually.
Yeah. If I were the dean, you know what I would do to help de-stress them? Fight clubs.
There you go.
Just have to beat the crap out of each other.
You know,
that'd be great, Tyrus.
I would enjoy it, Greg.
Yeah, I would watch the hell out of it.
It's not, you can't blame the kids. You can't, because I can remember when I was in college, there was something that happened somewhere, and they're like, we're going to take the day off. I was like, oh, it's terrible. Here.
Yeah.
So it's the professors. It's the ones who are doing this. And they did, you know, I was talking to Guy Benson today. They did this when Bush got in. The same type of professors had days of mourning because the religions were coming to get them. You know, these professors are the problem. And to your point, there was no day of mourning for October 7th.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But there's a day of mourning because you need to get your way. That's more proof that you should, never better time for the University of Phoenix. Never better time for trade schools, because being in the Ivy School is not about learning, it's about becoming a sheep. And you can go to Montana to do that.
And you young women out there, consider a profession of table dancing. I call that the school of hard knockers.
You just like had to get that in.
I had to get that in. I started thinking about the School of Hard Knocks, and then it went there. Tyler, I feel like I could use some therapy because the impact of all this relentless winning has created an uncontrollable euphoria. I feel like I could use some serious bed rest.
Sure. Well, you promised me we're going to Dave & Buster's and Gap Kids after, so I hope to do that.
I get you for the weekend?
Yeah. I gave you 5 tickets. I love all this. The Dartmouth did the listening circles. In honor of Kamala, shouldn't it be laughing circles?
Yeah.
They all just, and they're all sitting there crying. I'm like, are they going to cry in different accents? Like, Ziplan, what happened to Ziplan? Oh, you better thank the union member. So, anyways, you can edit that part out or add a laugh. Hey, add a laugh in there. Whatever you're going to do. Fake news. It's all fake news.
Brooke, Tyrus's point about like how they did not give a crap about what happened after October 7th. In fact, they kind of energized the people on the other side. And here they're just like, oh my God, we have to be sensitive to the feelings of people who can't handle an election.
Yeah, you know, just to correct, they did cancel classes, but it wasn't to mourn October 7th. It was to facilitate all these pro-terror rallies and to allow them to burn the American flag in the college quads. And, you know, what you're going to get in colleges is a lesson on how to undo democracy. And that's why I'm really, really looking forward to the second Trump administration to see how they enforce our laws, how they enforce Title VI of the Civil Rights Act, because we are now paying for those milk and cookies, right? None of these universities and colleges should be receiving federal funding because they are operating in violation of the law. And, you know, just to end on the same note, I'm really looking forward to seeing how we are going to root out the pro-terror radicalization and the foreign funding to the tune of $1 billion a year from states like Qatar that are going towards radicalizing these students and turning them against America, turning them against Israel. This is a major national security threat. I've spoken about it many times. It, in my opinion, is the greatest subversive influence campaign this world has ever seen, how our campuses are being used to undo democracy.
And also, how about those lactose intolerant students? How are they going to enjoy that milk and cookies? Oh, I'd hate to be a toilet in that men's room.
Can't they just identify as tolerant?
Yeah, they could. They could.
Identify as happy.
All right. Coming up, it never gets old watching Michael Cohen get trolled.
Trying to call it, Bill. I don't have Discord on my phone. Give me a minute. under your butt?
Users kept trolling him with delightful filters as he lost his Roll it, Debbie.
Wow, genius you are. Can we stop with that? I appreciate it. I don't like the stupid turkeys. All right, let's just knock that stupid off, please. The following day, I turned around and I said that there's no chance in the world that I'm leaving my country. Every single right within which to turn around. Would you stop so we can? All right, 2 seconds. I'm gonna end up locked in this idiot.
Tyrus, every day this election gets a little better.
It goes back to what we said in the first segment. These morons think they're so smart and they're so clever, but they don't know what accountability is. Because if he had any accountability, he wouldn't be in the position he was in the first place.
Yeah. It's another one of those losers who gained status by being anti-Trump. The 𝘁𝗵𝗁, the Avenattis.
Yeah.
They come and then they go.
Yeah, but they continue to exploit, you
Yeah.
know, which I would never do. Like, I would never say, oh, my apps are for sale, you know, on my website. I wouldn't just keep exploiting Greg Gutfeld and make comedy great again, koozies, you know, because I'm not a turkey.
I cannot believe that cat is actually himself.
I only have this one. It's
Exactly. Brooke, what do you think? This is one of those people that was made by criticism of Trump. What is he going to do now?
Yeah, and you know, he was like the star witness, Alvin Bragg's star witness against Trump, and that's clearly why, because he'll say anything and not mean it.
But you know what? Cat, would watch the hell out of a show featuring him being trolled. I could watch this forever.
I don't think I could, because it's just hard to listen to. It's the same crap. Like, of course you're not leaving.
Yeah.
All these celebrities who say nobody's ever leaving. Whether it's a celebrity saying that they're going to leave because of Trump, or you know, your boyfriend with a wife. When people say I'm leaving, they mean it 3% of the time.
But I'm done. And everyone
Yeah,
else
you're
is
not
I'm
done.
done.
You're so not done.
I'm done.
And I'm done. Mailing it in next.
Good evening, Patriots. Tonight we're witnessing something extraordinary. Just 4 days after Donald Trump's historic landslide, the world is already bending to America's will. The EU is begging for our natural gas. Putin is selling oil in dollars. Even Hamas is calling for peace. But here's what the mainstream media won't tell you. Trump's domestic revolution is even bigger. Mass deportations of 1.3 million illegals with existing removal orders, new cities rising from federal lands, a complete dismantling of the homeless crisis. This is not just a presidency, it's a great American reset that we have been waiting for. Speaking of America's great reset, let me tell you something that should alarm every patriot watching. Right now, as Trump prepares to take office, our national debt has exploded. Beyond $35 trillion. The Biden-Harris administration has been printing money faster than you can say inflation. But here's what the globalists don't want you to know. Smart money is already moving. So if you have funds sitting in a low-interest bank account or 401k IRA retirement account, you need to call my friends at Global Gold Investments. They are America's leading conservative precious metals dealer. And receive absolutely free their new 2024 Protect Your Wealth and Retirement Guide. The number on the screen, 888-700-4148. Make sure you mention Next News. Receive their 5-star customer treatment along with their complimentary portfolio analysis. Operators are standing by. That number again, 888-700-4148, or just visit IRAGoldproof.com. It's linked below. Remember, if you don't have gold, then you don't have wealth. Okay, friends, let's get into it. We currently are tracking Trump supporters right now counter-protesting as thousands of immigrants are marching against President-elect Trump.
I guarantee you when I catch you alone, you ain't gonna talk that shit. I guarantee you. I ain't illegal, I love them all. Trump is your president! Right here! Trump! Trump! Trump number one!
You know what's so crazy? Check this out. Here are the illegal immigrants marching in the streets right now.
The policy of the United...
The wounds cut deep. They cut very...
We did not expect this result.
Woo! I couldn't wait to make a video on this big trifling clown. Oh, it's time to be petty. It's time to be petty. Ah, this unqualified trifling woman here. Oh boy, you're in for a rude awakening, lady. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that right now. Let me go and repeat it. What she say again?
We did not expect this result.
Ah! Yeah. I mean, I don't know how you didn't expect it. I really don't know how you didn't expect it. Y'all underestimated the people that are just sick and tired of the crap, the corruption. You frauds. You frauds. Oh, now it's time to drain the swamp. And it's time to expose. It's coming. And you in for a rude awakening. And like I tell you, it's a list of y'all. And what we say out loud, y'all repeat out loud, beautiful patriots, because y'all know what I'm finna say. Hands behind your back.
But we are prepared to respond to this result. And my office has been preparing for several months. Because we've been here before. We faced this challenge before. And we use the rule of law to fight back. And we are prepared to fight back once again. Because as the Attorney General of this great state, it is my job to protect and defend the rights of New Yorkers and the rule of law.
You haven't been doing a great job at that. Look at New York now.
And I will not shrink from that responsibility.
Let me just say this to Big Tish James, the New York Attorney General.
Big Tish!
I dare you. I dare you to try to continue your lawfare against President Trump in his second term, because listen here, sweetheart, we're not messing around this time, and we will put your fat ass in prison for conspiracy against rights. And I promise you that. So think long and hard before you want to violate President Trump's constitutional rights or any other American's constitutional rights. It's not going to happen again.
We've been warning people on the show, Mike, this isn't the same Trump administration. Stop messing around. Don't rig elections. Don't illegally vote.
Woo!
Don't try the funny business, because we know the team this time, and they are not effing around.
We not effing around. We stepping in them lemon pepper steppers. I'm telling you, I'm telling you, man. Everybody, it's different now around. This go around is different. I'm trying to tell you. Trump didn't even know he was going to win in 2016. He was kind of lost, but he still did a good job. He was kind of lost. But now we got people walking around in lemon pepper steppers. We hitting different now, Big Tish James. Big Tish! Oh, you can try it now. Your big ass going down. Hey, I'm telling you, excuse my language, y'all, but I'm fired up. I'm fired up. My DJ T back. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm proud, man. I ain't took my hat. Look, everywhere I go now, I rocks my MAGA hat. Everywhere I go now. Yeah, buddy, because these next 4 years gonna hit different. You know, y'all tried everything in the book. Y'all thought y'all could get them. Y'all thought y'all could kill them. Y'all thought y'all could take everything from them. It didn't go the way you wanted to go. So we advise you to drop everything you got, Big Tish. Go and drop everything you got. Yeah. You see how people holding that Diddy off, how it went for them holding that Diddy off. How did it go for them people holding that Diddy off? How relevant are they now? Yeah, they be up.
Hey, wife. You got a 5 and you got a 1. And that is common sense. I tell you, they're in for a rude awakening. And they gonna throw your big in jail. I'm telling you. I just be real with you. You think you want to play if you want? Right? I keep telling them, y'all, they in for a rude awakening. A whole bunch of them. Keep playing if you want. I think y'all should everybody should try to be the friends and unite, give people hugs. Even if they decline you, just go on and say, I love you, I'm sorry. I love you, I'm sorry. I think I love you, and I'm sorry should be the first thing y'all say. Just saying. That's what I just try to give them a good advice. Rick tried to tell somebody send this video out and make sure it gets to them. I'm sorry, I love you. But look, we're going to keep it real. I couldn't wait to get into this. I should have got into this yesterday. So much was going on. I apologize. I'm a little late to the party, but when I get to it, we're going to have a little extra fun on the OK Rick show. We're going to have a little extra fun. He back in there. And come this Wednesday, he meeting with Biden. Oh, this is going to get good. I'll tell you, these next couple of weeks going to get good with prayers for President Trump. Because there's some people that's walking around smiling. They just stop all the rhetoric and stop calling him Hitler, dictator, and all that. You know what I'm saying? Prayers for President Trump and prayers for the people that are around him, his circle, the Secret Service, everything, man. Because we don't know what to expect next, man. We don't know what to. I need prayers for President Trump in the comment section, y'all. Come on now. This one's for Letitia Big Tish James. Oh, we didn't expect this outcome. What you mean? Were you sleeping under a rock, man? Were you and Big Fanny and Hillary taking sips together at a beach house? What you mean you didn't see this coming? All right.
Just got warmed up. I'm gonna bring the whole disease corrupt temple down on your head. It's gonna be biblical. Damn. No, we don't.
You don't have to brag, Mike. We'll brag for you, buddy. Maybe this time Donald Trump won't interrupt our interview. Like he did 2 days ago when Trump came in and said, hey, what's up? We're going to win. And sure enough, you won.
Yeah, it's great. And the best part about this, Ben, is watching CNN and MSNBC explode when I'm tweeting out my victory crows the day after the election. They are just going bananas over at MSNBC and CNN. And I would like to say to those cupcakes over there, keep going. You are raising a lot of money for Article 3 Project, article3project.org, article number 3project.org. I want to put all of these CNN and MSNBC reporters on the Article 3 Project's board of directors, because like many Hamas Hassan before them, and Joy Reid and all the other nut jobs on MSNBC, thank you for helping us raise a lot of cash today for the article3project.org.
So here we go. Here's my current mood. This was just broadcast on CNN. Mike, well done, by the way. I want to... It's amazing how CNN doesn't ask you to come on and respond to this. That would be wonderful. We remember when you were on the BBC and had to be physically thrown off air at the BBC for calling people bimbos. Oh man, that was legendary, Mike. Here we go. Here you are on CNN. They don't have the guts to actually invite you on. I want to drag their dead political bodies through the streets and burn them and throw them over the wall. Legally, politically, and financially, of course. Mike, would you mind, since CNN doesn't have the dignity to invite you on to explain, why don't you explain?
I'm reading that, and I stand by it. I want to burn their dead political bodies, drag them through the streets, and throw them off the wall, legally, politically, and financially. Of course, because guess what these Biden and Kamala operatives did? They politicized and weaponized our law enforcement and intel agencies to go after President Trump. They tried to bankrupt him. They tried to throw him in prison for the rest of his life for non-crimes. They tried to take him off the ballots. They tried to underfund his Secret Service protection and almost got his head blown off. And then when that didn't work, they gutted Joe Biden in a bloodless coup and installed Kamala Harris as their nominee, who didn't get one Democrat primary vote. It didn't just stop with Trump. He is a billionaire, former and future president. It's horrific what they did to him, but he has the resources to do it. What angers me more than this is they went after Trump's top aides. They put Steve Bannon in prison. They put Peter Navarro in prison. Even worse, they went after these January 6th defendants, and they politically persecuted them. Yes, persecuted them, according to the Supreme Court's Fisher decision in June. They also went after parents, outraged by gender chaos in schools and the resulting rapes in high school bathrooms. They went after Christians, pro-life Christians who were praying at abortion clinics. They put a 75-year-old Christian in prison for praying at an abortion clinic, while they gave amnesty to Joe Biden and Hunter Biden, every scumbag Biden who took over $20 million from our worst enemies. They gave amnesty to BLM and Antifa and Hamas rioters. They gave amnesty to Planned Parenthood activists who are terrorizing Catholic churches and pro-life pregnancy centers. They gave amnesty to trans terrorists who attacked Catholic churches. So yes, I mean every word I said in that tweet.
I want to focus in really quickly here, because Julie Kelly was on the program yesterday talking about restitution for January 6ers and how the federal government probably owes some type of recompense based on what's been happening, because not only has it been unconstitutional, it's been illegal the way that they've been treating innocent Americans, torturing them. I think that there is a actual proper definition of this word. They've been legally torturing people and then physically torturing them in prison, and these people need to be made whole. Many of them have been bankrupted entirely. Mike, can you talk through the landscape of what that looks like to make things right with J6ers?
Yeah, January 6th was a lawful protest permitted by the National Park Service that devolved into a riot. And what should have happened is you charge people who trespassed with trespass, and you charge people who were violent with violence. But what the Biden-Harris Justice Department did is they treated everyone like they were insurrectionists. How many insurrectionists go unarmed into the nation's capital, walk through velvet ropes, take selfies, and walk out? And they did this because they were objecting to a presidential election, which is allowed under the Electoral Count Act of 1887 It's also allowed by the First Amendment. This is
No,
why
it's not
you
because
don't
of
see
you. It's because I don't trust the law.
John Kerry and Al Gore and Hillary Clinton in prison for objecting to Republican wins like Democrats did in 1968, 2000, 2004, and 2016. But what they did is they took a post-Enron obstruction of justice statute intended for corporate fraud document shredding, and they used that as a hammer to go after January 6th defendants. They persecuted them. They illegally contorted, politicized, and weaponized the law to go after January 6th defendants. And that isn't just me saying this, that is the Fisher ruling out of the Supreme Court. And they did this, again, while they gave amnesty to much more deadly and destructive BLM and Antifa rioters, right? And now Hamas rioters terrorizing American Jews all over America, particularly on college campuses. So yes, there must be severe legal, political, and financial consequences to all of those involved. Jack Smith, he's seeing the writing on the wall. He's going to shut down his office because he should be fired, right? He should absolutely be fired. Everyone in his office should be fired. They should be referred to the ethics people at the Justice Department because they clearly were violating Department of Justice policy by trying to interfere in the election. It's very obvious. They made it clear they're interfering. They shut down their investigation. They announced they're shutting down their investigation the day after Trump beat Kamala Harris like the drum. You're admitting this was election influence. There needs to be a criminal probe open on this. This is a conspiracy against rights, against Trump, his top aides, his allies, his supporters under 18 USC Section 241. It's not only Jack Smith, it's Tish James, Fannie Willis, Nathan Wade, all these Chris Mays in Arizona, these bad actors, these Democrat operatives who are running this unprecedented republic-ending lawfare against Trump, his aides, his allies, his supporters. There must be consequences for this. There particularly must be consequences to what they did to the January 6th defendants. They need to be pardoned or commute their sentence, pardon almost all of them, commute the sentences for the worst offenders. So there's nothing that happened on January 6th that calls for someone going to prison for 22 years. That is absolutely ridiculous. So you would commute his sentence down to something that's more fair and just and reasonable. You dismiss all of these charges immediately on January 20th. You shut down these offices. You reassign these prosecutors and these agents to real crimes in D.C. and the southern border, and you restore these people with the Department of Justice. There's a fund at the Department of Justice you can do to compensate.
All right, Gruffalo, give me a moment.
Under the Fisher. This is outrageous. What they do.
It's this fund already. It is, but it's not 12 yet, so we're good.
So you got the House of Representatives?
We're still working on it, or they're still working on it.
Wow, taking a long time.
Yeah, I think they're playing with it. They're screwing with us.
Mistress, he's a hell of a calm warrior, envy says.
Call, laugh out loud, he didn't have jobs luck on.
Dark mistress, while trying to flirt with me, what a joke, what a throng.
Stop crying.
I'm logging into BP now. I'm a wizard now.
All the same person, stop crying with a smile. Good, how about
Fake news can't understand it.
Dark mistress, dark heart,
Fake news can't understand it.
Dark mistress has a fever, still laughing.
Don't even worry about the news broadcast. I would just to find out what, just look it up on the internet.
They can't understand it.
How to use that lock, level 20 base.
Latest let's to
I have this
Dark mistress,
corruption, that's how it happens. Corruption at its finest.
2014, you were explored. Dark mistress, low annoyance factor, that's your aim. Stop crying, hope we won't fall. We'll rise above the flame. Stop crying.
I'm cold.
Stop crying, strong
Clothes in. I got clothes on. I got a t-shirt and a pair of pants on.
Stop crying, cuz. Stop crying, gaze beard no more stunning. Dark mistress, I shut it down, no more pain. Doll base envy, driving me insane. Dark mistress, now I talk without a
I guess I'll start with the rabbit.
Stop crying, I've had enough of you.
And we're doing these things here.
Get off your high horse, nobody likes you.
So I guess I'll start fighting some of them just for the hell of it.
What's your cue?
We got 1 minute, so by the time we kill it, take it slow. Kill it slow.
Hated me since day one, but
Kill it slow. This way we get the credit. Don't kill it yet. We gotta wait until 1 minute. But I can kill one off. You gotta hurt to kill one off. It won't hurt to actually kill two off, but you got another out there.
all the time. What's your cue? Vanity, attention seeker, that's your game. Hated me since day one, but I'm not to blame. Black Heather Mom, Maria, I think it's the opposite. You're the one crying, always so negative. You haven't said anything, just making songs. You're the one seeking attention all day long. Dark mistress, you flirt with men online, a harmless game. But I know your intentions, don't play dumb, don't pretend. You're ugly inside, selling fake stories too. Nobody believes you, Maria. It's true. Black Heather Mom, I showed you chat logs, now you're silent. Can't refute the truth, your drama's violent.
If your character's already here, just go ahead and kill it, Ruff. Don't wait for me, okay? But if your character's not there, then you'll have to jump to one of them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, this way we can get them done real quickly if we can. I'm gonna go right to life. You don't have to wait for me. Go ahead and log to the next character if it's already there. If it's already there, that is.
Lost can care?
Yeah, my life's here.
Low-cost health plan.
What about a plan
I'm doing it with life. Like I said, if your character's not there, then you'll have to jump.
Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting next month.
Wix. One platform. Any website. Unlimited creation. Describe your needs and goals.
That's the way this way we can get them done quicker.
Transform your tailored brief into a unique website.
Not waiting on each other while if we already know we're here. You know what I mean?
Customize it. Shape your visitor's experience with show-stopping visuals and interactions that elevate every part of your site, down to the finest details. Control everything on the platform where form meets function. Monitor, measure, and manage all your website's activity from one place. Stay constantly connected so you can take any action and improve your site's performance at any time, from anywhere. Evolve effortlessly with scalable solutions
Yep, it's
that
there.
grow with you, turning what you've got into where you want to go with confidence and persistence.
Come on.
Personalized, customized, ready to go live. Wix.
We're getting them done real quick. We'll be logging in, logging out, and hitting them. Now, we're not there, that's when we gotta slow down.
We sat and talked on a strange display. Whispers of the past to tell of fools, of warriors and dreams and stories told. Oh, let the spirits guide our mind. In the echoes of laughter, wisdom we find. Sway with me under the moon's embrace. Feel the rhythm that dreams in
got a few minutes.
Where the sun once shone, now retreat. Pathfinders roam through the silent night, chasing shadows, searching for light. In the depths of our hearts, we hold the key. Unlock the magic, set us free. Sway with me under the moon's embrace. Feel the rhythm that dreams interlace. In this acid house where stories align, dance to the beat, let your soul shine.
We might get them all done. Oh, maybe not. I think we're gonna run out of time. Wow, really? I fizzled? What? I might not get credit this time. I don't know. Because I didn't fizzle. If it didn't fizzle, I would have had the credit. How many did you get done, Gruff?
5. I think I have 3 more to go.
Okay, we'll probably have to go to the new
So what is
world.
ClickUp? ClickUp is an all-in-one productivity software where you can manage everything and anything related to your work.
I don't
Your
think I'm gonna get
documents,
Storm
your
credit.
chats, your whiteboards, your projects. The value of this, you don't have to buy 5 softwares to do this. You don't have to be hopping
that fizzle
back and
slowed me
forth between
down.
multiple
Gave
tabs
them another
trying to
go
find
around.
that email from a year ago. Instead, you
Yeah, I
can find
didn't get it
everything
that
in a
time.
matter of
Okay,
seconds.
so
Keeping
whatever
your
it is,
work and
change to,
everything
we'll
related to
find out.
productivity organized
Right.
in a single place.
Very good, 𝗔𝗂.
Well, we got some of them done. Now we'll have to wait on each other.
This AI tool will create a stunning ebook direct from your content, whether it's a Microsoft Word document or a
snakes,
Google
we're gonna go kill
document,
the
or
snakes.
even if you just have an idea. It will create the whole ebook for you, complete with the graphics, with the images, the fonts, layout. So within a few minutes, you end up with a stunning ebook that's ready to publish.
Okay,
Watch
so
this. First, let's create the content. So in Designer, I create a new ebook, and I'm going to do it as a PDF. I can import from lots of
Somebody
different
already
types of content, but for now I'm going to use 𝗔𝗂, our AI content creator.
Yeah.
So all I need to do is give me ideas. So I'm going to say confidence and then
All right,
set the
coming to you.
subject. I'm going to target this towards entrepreneurs and choose a title. It comes back with the outline, which I can customize and add or remove chapters, sections. And then within a few moments, it comes back with the full
Are these
ebook,
the right
which I can
ones?
customize and rewrite
I'm not
as
sure.
I see fit. So let's move on to
Just
the next
outdoors
step.
today.
I'm going to choose a template.
no,
This can
Viper
be choose from
Soldiers.
all different styles and niches. But for now, I'm going to look at this one. It's called Playful Vibes. It's quite vibrant. Let's give it a go.
Let's just
So
jump
I'm going
over
to step
some
through. I can
nonsense.
customize my ebook. I can change any content and it's combine the template with my raw content there. So all I need to do really is just scroll through, check everything off, switch out images for different ones from the image library. There's over 1 million images to choose from. And as I keep doing that, just repeat that throughout the whole ebook and I'm pretty much ready to go. So all I need to do then is to scroll down and click on Publish, and there is my final ebook all ready to go. And when you join Design, you're joining 350,000 customers from 70 different countries. We've been around since 2016. We're clearly the world's leading ebook designer. We've got awards from Capterra, from Trustpilot, from G2, and Software Advice. So all you need to do is click on the Learn More button
Okay,
below
we gotta
this
find the
video.
Viper
Get started,
Soldiers.
get your ebook completed by the end of the day.
They gotta be in here somewhere or outside. These are the boas. If you find, let me know. I'm gonna go look down here. I'll let you know if I find them. Okay, I would say they're not in here. They're probably on the outside. They're probably not directly in here.
There's spells and charms, deceitful snare. Don't fall for their lies, show them you care. Astrologers, fortune tellers, and more.
Oh, shit.
I'm level.
Okay. Yeah, those are better. Alright, get him, bro. Okay, good night.
Okay.
Okay, I'm coming to you with my balance, okay? Sit. Not shit, sit.
I heard you.
I just want to make sure that I don't want you shit.
How's your dog?
I'm doing fine so far.
Good.
We theirs okay too so far. We gave her some, went and bought some chicken liver for her today to give her extra stuff in her body.
Okay.
Vitamin K. Gave her some raw egg and some chicken liver. So hopefully whatever, if she did take it, hopefully what we're doing is going to help her, you know what I mean?
Their spells and charms, deceitful snare. Don't fall for their lies, show them you care. Astrologers, fortune tellers, and more. Claiming knowledge, but it's not from the Lord. Their words may sound sweet and so clear, but check the Bible, don't lend an ear. They deny Jesus, the only way, leading many astray night and day. Don't follow their lies, don't be deceived. Stay true to God's word, your soul to keep. Test their words against Scripture's light. If it contradicts, take flight. Don't be misled by their cunning guile. Stay firm in faith and God's true smile. False messiahs, false teachers too. Beware of their lies and what they do, leading many astray with their deceit. Stay true to Jesus, your soul to keep. So heed this warning, don't be fooled to keep. So heed this warning, don't be fooled. Stay
There's a lady who wants me to click on a Jesus thing, but I don't trust the link because I got a feeling it's going to take me into porn. And I told her, I said, it's not you that I don't trust, it's your link because I don't recognize the link to where it's going to. And so I told her I wasn't going to be clicking on the link. I said, it's not against you, it's not against God. Where'd you go, Gruff?
Oh, sure. I understand.
But I told her it's not against her, it's not against God. Oh, never mind.
Well, my mistake.
Which character was there? Do I need to go back there?
I'm on my way. I'm gonna find it in 2 seconds.
Oh.
Almost there. I made a mistake.
Well, let me get a character there. Give me a credit, Rob.
Okay, I'm almost there. I'm gonna jump this one. I'm gonna jump this one.
Oh, you are?
Verify the facts, don't compromise. Don't settle for lies. Courts in disarray, biased views, prosecuting Trump on fabricated clues. Do your own research, don't rely on the government or media to tell you why. See truth, don't settle for less.
Yeah, those.
Do your own research, be informed, be blessed. Do your own research, don't rely on the government or media to tell you why. Seek truth, don't settle for less. Do your own research, be informed, be blessed. CNN, BBC News, turn them off, they lie. Each has its bias, don't ignore. The internet's best, explore and find. Multiple views, leave no stone turn in mind. Do your own research, don't rely on the government or media to tell you why. Seek truth, don't settle for less. Do your own research, be informed, be blessed. Fake charges filled with no real crime. Witch hunt tactics all the time. Seek alternative platforms free. Truth Social X, Gap, or unbiased scene. Do your forms free. Truth Social X, Gap, or unbiased scene. Do your own research. Don't rely on the government or media to tell you why. Seek truth, don't settle for less.
Alright,
do your own research. Be informed, be blessed. Ancient texts hold wisdom true. Proverbs 18:31, Thess 5:21. Verify, discern, and understand. Truth will rise amidst the noise in hand. Do your own research. Don't rely on the government or media to tell you why. Seek truth, don't settle for less. Do your own research. Be informed, be blessed. Consult experts, diverse views.
Alrighty, bro, thank you.
Dialogue, refine your views.
You gotta go
Knowledge
get
is
some food or
power.
you're gonna get all
Take
BP.
control. Do your own research. Be informed.
Just check it out for 5
Question
minutes.
authority, challenge the norm. Seek truth and justice will reform. Psalm 119, 130, John 8:32. Truth will rise amidst the noise and storm. Do your own research. Don't rely on the government or media to tell you why. Seek truth, don't settle for less. Do your own research. Be informed, be blessed. Don't take everything at face value. Question, seek, and you will find the truth. Do your own research. It's time to seek knowledge and make informed minds. Enjoy Black Letter Mom. I'm the captain, call me the chief. Navigating waters, my crew finds relief when the storm starts brewing. We stand as one, battle pirates forever. Our journey's just begun. Enemies lurking, shadows they hide. With dreadnoughts and courage, we turn the tide. Rising like legends in battles we fight. Kingdoms will tremble when we take to the night. Building our empire brick by brick. In this game of kings, we're ready quick. I am the captain, call me the chief. Navigating waters, my crew finds relief. When the storm starts brewing, we stand as one. Battle pirates forever, our journey's just begun. Sailing through the chaos, we won't back down. In the sea of adventure, together we crown.
Well, I think I'm going to go to bed or